much for being on. Nate Scott is on. He has the controls now as the host of Real Talk 3. And so let's go ahead and do some introductions while we're waiting for some more folks to jump on. We have had an exciting week. Oh my goodness, you guys, I feel like this has been a jam-packed week, just full of celebrations, full of knowledge. Just full of personal growth and development. And it just continues to build and build and build, one on top of the other. And I'm just so excited to see Val on. Val, I got to tell you, this woman has not missed a thing. She is part of the Don't Miss a Thing Club, okay? And good to see you on, Val. We'll hear from you in a moment. And then we have Shirley on, who's one of our directors, and of course, Sherilyn, who just dropped off. My mom is on, and we're going to go and work together later today. And then Christine, who is brand new to the Life is Rich Financial Peace. She's taken that class. And so we would love to just kind of get some introductions from, so Shirley, we're going to ask that you would come off mute, sweetheart, and just introduce yourself and say good morning, everyone, and share where you're from, where you live, how long you've been part of our community, and what are you looking forward to today? What are you looking forward to today during this Real Talk?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Shirley Carter. I'm from Bryan, Texas. And like Andrea said, we had a full week, but it was an enjoyable week. What I'm looking for this morning is just this. I had invited some guests, so that's one thing I'm looking for this morning, to be honest with you. And secondly, I'm just looking to, I always come in and chime in because I never know what I miss. We'll have good spiritual Zooms. We'll have good Zooms all the time. And I just come in to put, to learn, to see what's, I just don't want to miss anything. So if you don't want to miss anything, you have to be here. So
I love it.
That's what.
I love it. I was thinking the same thing, Shirley. I was thinking, you know what? I feel like I'm either always on a Zoom or a conference call, but it's always so good. It's like,
Yes.
What if you're not growing? Like, what else are you doing? What else are we occupying our time with? You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of things that folks could be doing. I mean, right now, folks, where you going? You're quarantined in the house unless you're going shopping or whatever, watching television, all of those things. But yeah, we need to definitely be sure that we don't miss anything. And so thank you so very much. Angie Murray just jumped on. She's also one of our directors. Angie, would you introduce yourself and just share where you live and how long you've been with the community and what are you looking forward today on Real Talk?
Good morning. My name is Angie Murray. I live right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been with Life is Rich. Actually, it'll be a year on the 29th.
Woo!
Yes, I'm excited about that. I guess this morning, I'm just looking forward to be able to speak with the guests and hear what some of their thoughts.
Okay, Angie, you froze up, I think, because we don't hear you anymore. We should be able to because you're not on mute, but you might be in a bad area.
In my work with
okay, I hear you better now.
Okay.
Yeah, you said you were looking forward to hearing the guests' thoughts.
Yeah, the thoughts of the guests as they, ponder who we are, and what we do, and also to be able to give reflections regarding my experience in this, past year and how I have grown personally, financially, professionally, as I work with, the Life is Rich team.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And so now we're going to go on over to up to my mom, and mom, just share the same, where you are and what are you most looking forward to experience on Real Talk 3?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Florence Johnson from Jacksonville, Florida, and this morning, really just some inspiring and encouraging words.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's go over to Birmingham. Miss Val Shelton, I talk about how you haven't missed anything since you have kind of locked arms with us and as a Life is Rich family member, and just kind of share how long you've been with our community, with the Life is Rich family, and the value that you've gotten and what you're expecting today. What are your expectations?
Good morning. Good morning. With Life is Rich, what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's what, 2 weeks now? You know, time flies when you're having fun. So I'm not quite sure, but it's okay. It's okay. I have enjoyed all of the fulfillment, real being real, as it's called, real talk. You take the blinders off. You don't worry about someone judging you or what you're going to say. I mean, it's just a very comfortable and satisfying environment. And there's never a dull moment. I think that's why I'm still just committed. Never a dull moment. There's always something to learn. And that in itself keeps you going, especially in a time such as this. What I'm looking forward to, again, it's never a dull moment. I'm looking forward to the personal growth development, which is something that we all can benefit from. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Wonderful, wonderful. Val, how's your aunt?
She's great. She's great. We found out some things that I knew as a medical professional in my previous career was going to it was the inevitable. But she's great. And just to take the blinders off, she's pleasantly confused.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we wish her well. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, Denise Brathwaite, we are wanting to hear from you, and you're calling in from Maryland. So Denise, unmute yourself and just share with everyone, what your experience has been by being a part of our community, what you have gained, the value that you've gained, and what are you looking forward to today on Real Talk?
Good morning. I have been on, I think this is my third day, maybe my fourth, I'm not sure, but it's not really more than that. And I have gained a lot of insight based on people's testimonies. And I love the fact that everyone has been able to come on and share personal things from their life or things from how their business has been growing. I love the community so far, even though I don't know the people personally, but it's something that's just good for my soul. I thought it was wonderful that we were able to celebrate all the new distributors yesterday. I love the fact that everybody had a different song that got them going. And I thought it was just so cute when you played the song for Nate yesterday. That really was just too tickled. And then when Nate came on later and was singing and dancing around in his chair, and it's just a loving environment. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling grateful to be connected to everybody. I'm looking forward to feeding my mind, growing more, and just connecting with everybody, because I've been looking for that type of community setting overall. I've been looking for a unity with people that are like-minded like myself, that just want more out of life and that are looking to take their life to the next level. And because of the friends that I have, we're all on different levels right now. I think I've grown and I've changed in my thought process. And so it's hard for me to communicate with them because they're still at the same level where they were. So when we're having conversations and I start bringing up different things, you know, that's next level, they're not even understanding where I'm coming from. And it makes it hard to sometimes hold conversations with them because they're staying still in the same kind of mentality setting. So I appreciate, you know, being connected to this community overall, having that experience. You know, I look forward to growing with y'all as a team and doing trips and things where I get to meet everybody and socialize. And I've just been being blessed lately. I told Andrea recently I got money in the mail, which is something that I never, ever, ever have gotten. People just sent me money just because. I got two days, I got envelope in the mail that had money. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm connected to a Life is Rich family and I got money that came in the mail. I was like, what? I was like, talk about it. I text Andrea. I was like, Andrea, I got money in the mail. I was so excited, but I just feel like being connected to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The power of the calls has just trickled over and just God just allowed me to just start tasting the fruit of what y'all are doing. So I thank you, and I thank Nate for just doing this and bringing this full circle for all of us. Thank you.
Wonderful. Denise, so jam-packed with so many things that you shared. The first thing I want to do is remedy something that you said and just put it in the right context. So, and you said it, and so I'm going to remedy it just for those who may not know, maybe Christine, or, you know, we don't have a whole bunch of guests on, but so what we did yesterday was we celebrated the growth of those who are part of the Life is Rich family. All right. So we celebrated the growth of the family. And these are our directors and not distributors. So I just want to make sure that I just remedy that, because it's a lot of times people think that that's what we do, that we're distributors, but we are so not distributors. Okay. Do I look like a distributor? No, I'm kidding. So I just wanted to remedy that. So just be careful when you use that, because we celebrate growth here, okay? And they just happen to have moved into a new level, but we're not distributors. So I just wanted to remedy that. And I'm glad that you shared that so that I could correct that for anyone who may have had that thought process. But the other thing that you said that was so powerful is that you recognize that at your place of growth, that you will no longer have things in common with the people that you used to. That when God is moving you and elevating you, and it's kind of like that whole thing when you're the smartest person in your circle, you need a new circle, you know, or that when you're growing, that you can literally outgrow some people that were in your life, and that means family members, friends, lifelong friends, and the conversation will change because of the growth that's happening within you. And so you were absolutely spot on. And so sharing that and sharing just the opportunity, sharing the testimony of how God, you know, is blessing you, and how out of the blue, see, it's out of the blue for us, it's not out of the blue for God, to be able to get the money that you need in order to do the things that you thought you couldn't do, and that it so proves, and it proves that there's nothing really that is held back from us in the way that we think, because you were thinking I'm not able to do what I need to do because of where I am. But when you make up in your mind, see, when you say how can I versus I can't, once you say I can't, you close the window to opportunities to be blessed. But when you say how can I, now the brain begins to start to maneuver and think and problem solve, and now God gets it to you. It's kind of like holding on tight to that last dollar, you know, and not wanting to give it away. But as soon as you give it away, you open up your hands for God to bless you with not just the dollar, not just $2, not just $10, but even $100, $500, $1,000. He gives you so much more. And so it's that opening up your mind to that unlimited thinking. It's like, okay, God, I know that this is where what I see physically, what I see in my account, and I on tomorrow's Leading Ladies Call, I'm going to tell y'all a testimony about this whole money thing, because the enemy uses that whole money piece, man, to get God's people all jacked up. You know what I mean? And so opening up your mind, Denise, and seeing that, you know what, here I am now. It's not a coincidence that Val, that I reached out to, that I put something on Facebook. Val reached out to me. Because Val reached out to me, I shared who we are. And Val will tell you, I told Val the difference between, you know, being a customer and being part of Life is Rich. I clearly gave her that distinction. And I said, make your decision. It's up to you. I know what we offer, and I know what's being offered. And it's two different offers. And then for Val to share it with you. And then now for God to position you to be here with us. And then you get the blessing for what you need in order to become who He wants you to become. That's not by accident. I don't believe, because God doesn't have any, and God does, nothing is by accident. And so I wanted to say that as a means of encouragement to you, because I know from our conversations what it is that you want and where you see yourself, and continue to do that. Continue to see yourself bigger, because again, like I said on the Zoom, the universe is a reflection of it will reflect back to you who you are. And so when it comes to what it is that we want, it's like everything that we want, we will reflect everything that we produce. We're supposed to be producers, okay? And not just consumers. We're supposed to be producers. And so I appreciate you. I just wanted to remedy that one thing, that one word, but you just sharing your heart this morning was a blessing. And thank you for that. I see the growth happening in you. And again, you have been the one also, from the time that you have been part of our community, to not miss anything. And that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. No matter what you have or do not have, or where you want to be right now, you have made it a priority to take advantage of everything that we have offered so far. And Denise, that speaks volumes to me. And so kudos to you. Kudos to you, my friend. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So Deb Johnson. Deb Johnson, I love you so much for so many reasons. I mean, you have no idea how much I love this chick right here. And so, so Deb, you are also one of our honorees last night. Thank you for being on this morning. Just share again where you're from, how long you've been with our community, and what do you want to receive from being on Real Talk this morning? How come we can't hear you? I can't hear you, but you're not on mute. Is that you? Is your volume up? Is your audio?
Go to the next person. Go to the next person.
Okay. All right. So you fix your audio, girl. All right. So let's see. So we have, Sherilyn, one of our honorees from last night. Yes. Sherilyn Clay, please unmute yourself and just share with everyone how long you've been with our community, and what you want to receive from Real Talk 3. All right, go ahead and unmute your line. Okay, so, all right, so she must be on that bad phone. Okay, so while you and Deb trying to figure it out, we're going to go ahead and move on over to Christine and then Michelle Tolliver, because Christine, I introduced you before, but nobody was on yet. So tell us who you are and how long you've been tied to us, Nate or myself, and the community. And what have you taken advantage of so far? And tell us how it's been for you and what you want to get today.
Okay, I'm Christine Day from Philadelphia. I own and operate a family daycare in my home. I serve 6 to 8 children. I've been doing this for 35 years. I'm 65. I'm looking to retire 5 to 10 years from now because I love what I'm doing and I need some more financial growth to get there. Thursday night was my first time in the class with Nate, and this is my first time today on this web and this Zoom. And I'm just looking to learn more about financial growth and how I can get out of debt and come on the other side of it and live a better life.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for your honesty and your transparency. You guys, you all know how many people are in that situation and they're not even honest with themselves. I'm 65 and I need to work for another 10 years to get to really to where I need to be. But it's not even working for another 10 years. You got to be around the people and in the space of people who can help you to really see where the gap is from where you are to where you want to be. And that's the thing, that most people don't have that. They don't have the direction, you know? And so thank God that, you know, that Kendra shared, and not that we are the end all be all, I'm sure, but I know what God has given us in this, like Deb says, this angel that walks among us, Nate Scott. And so thank you so much, Christine, for being on. Let's go to Michelle Tolliver. Michelle, welcome. Michelle, introduce yourself if you're a guest who invited you on. You were on last night, and so tell us what your experience was from being on last night and what you're looking forward to today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Michelle Tolliver, and I am from Birmingham, Alabama, and Val Shelton invited me on the call yesterday, and of course my phone is acting crazy, so I'm not sure if it's acting crazy now or if you can hear me.
You're good. Perfect.
Great. So yeah, yesterday, today, I just wanted to get on and see what the business is about, and I like rubbing elbows with great people. So and just looking for more streams of income, basically. So
okay. Now, what do you do professionally?
Oh, what don't I do? But I I sell life insurance and pre-need funerals. Those are my main jobs.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Well, nice to have you on, Michelle. And what Val has done is she has introduced you to a community of men and women who are like-minded. Life is rich means living in fullness every day, because we realize that we are Christ's heir. Rich is realizing I'm Christ's heir. And once we come to that realization, well, here's what we do. We understand that there's nothing that we cannot accomplish. There's nothing that we can accomplish, because God has already given us everything pertaining to life and godliness. And so this is not so much a business community, because we welcome all people. We welcome all people, but this is a personal growth and development community. One of the things that I shared last night was how one of the thing that Nate shared, which was creating great minds. And it's almost like a think tank. You know what I mean? It's almost like a think tank of people who want to grow, and people who we contribute to each other's success, mindset, and success in every area, spiritually as a foundation, mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically, and financially. I was talking to someone the other day who messaged me with some help in a personal situation. And I told her, I said, one of the things that I would suggest that you do is that you begin to journal and assessing yourself, who you are and where you are in every area of your life spiritually. How are you in your spiritual life, in your mental life, your thinking? How do you think and process? Your emotional life, where are you emotionally? Do you react? Are you reactive? Are you passive? Are you emotionally bankrupt? Are you emotionally, where are you emotionally? Where are you physically? How's your physical health? How's your physical environment? And how are your relationships relationally? Where are you with your relationships? What's important? Who's important? And then finally, your finances. Where are you financially, and where do you want to be? And a lot of times, I don't know about y'all, but prior to really taking the steps of personal growth and development, that's not something that I really thought about, so to speak. And I remember Angie Maury sharing on one of our women's calls that at every point in those areas, that there's different levels of growth in each of those areas, with the spiritual foundation being the number one. And so with that being said, I welcome each and every one of you. I hope you have some questions. Nate and I wanted to have a safe place, and everything that we do is having that safe place to be able to field your questions and to be able to give you whatever we can that you can use practically to apply to your life to get results. And that's what we really are. We are a results oriented community. And so with that being said, I want to go ahead and bring Nate on. Nate, welcome to the call.
Actually, babe, we're not done with everyone. So see if Sherilyn and who else.
Oh, right. Sherilyn and Deb. There you go. Sherilyn and Deb. How are you guys doing with your audio? Can we get you guys audio fixed? No? Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can, Deb. Yay. You're calling in. Yes. I love it. Super smart.
So actually, I'm on my computer. So let me come off video.
Got it.
But I was about to call in as well. I just removed those headphones that I had into the computer. So I'm originally from, good morning, everybody. Again, I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I currently live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I've been here for several years, maybe 22 years or so. And I have been with the Life is Rich community for, I don't know, I think 10 months. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time.
More than 10 months.
So officially, I don't know what that is. I need to figure that out. But it's been a blessing to me. What value I've gotten out of it. I thought about it last night after we got off the call, and the Life is Rich community has encouraged growth, personal development. It's encouraged spiritual growth, emotional growth, and I'm not just trying to test my knowledge of our acronym, but I mean literally it has caused me to grow in areas. And last night when I got off the call, I said, wow, it's helping me to walk in authority, the authority that God gives us, just knowing that we're His children and we are His heirs. And that's what this community has provided. It is a nurturing, judgment-free zone where we can just grow, learn and grow and continue to grow. I call myself a lifelong learner. And even just some of the questions that were asked, before we had the celebration last night, we were prompted to share something, and it was, hey, what book are you reading? What books, are you currently reading? And that's encouragement. That's like a gentle nudge. If you're not reading anything, pick up a book. Like, really, it just encourages us to be better. Nate says, I want your best. Sometimes I hear Nate's voice before, joining a call. Deb, I want your best. Because, I may want to be, one of the words I use, I know there's power in words, but a word that I use often, almost a habitual word, is raggedy. And I could be raggedy sometimes, My Wi-Fi is raggedy at my house, so we're working on, adding a new system so that we won't have that issue, because I've been blessed to be able to 100% telework. You're talking about finding the blessing in the ashes. I'm going to disclose a little bit, but my husband has diabetes, and because my husband has diabetes, I made the list. I made the CDC list as one of the DoD employees who can work from home 100% during this time, so that I don't accidentally compromise his immune system further. So I'm grateful for that. But I can say that I'm continuing to grow, and I'm resisting the urge to fall back to the excuses that I gave myself in the past. Nate will send an emoji that just, that hands up emoji, like, what? Like, what do you want me to do about that? Fix it, work on it. And those, those takeaways, those tangible takeaways help us to grow. We don't even use the word can't. It's like, okay, if you want to whine in your mind, get over yourself and fix the situation. And that's encouraged. And, it's like, a quick admonishment, but you don't feel bruised. That's priceless. So this community has been a priceless, phenomenal blessing for me. And today on the call, I did have some invites. I sent out some invites and I don't see anybody on here. So I don't know what happened, but I'll continue to invite folks to this community, because everybody who's been invited needs it. And I'm blessed to be here. So thank you for allowing me to share. I don't know if I covered everything.
You did amazing. You did amazing. You gave us more than we bargained for. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes.
On that note, be
And
quiet.
your Wi-Fi sounds good finally.
What? Oh, won't we do it?
Yes,
All
you
right.
will.
Hey, real quick, Deb, one thing I want you to do with your invites, and I want everyone to listen to this. If you're sending your invite out via text and you're not picking up the phone, then that's the issue.
Okay.
If you are sending out invites and you're not picking up the phone, that's an indication to people what level of importance you're placing on. Think about when I talk to you guys, when I was sent a text message and when I pick up the phone. Or if you send me a text message and then you get a phone call from me. Always remember that those things that you really truly do place an importance on, you actually follow through. Had a coaching session with Shirley this week about a scheduled time for our one-on-one that she said she called, but then didn't get me. And this was at our 9:30 or 10 a.m. appointment. And then the next time I get something's at 2 in the afternoon saying, I tried you this morning. I didn't know if we were going to meet or not. I've availed myself to you. What do you mean you tried? You didn't leave a message. You didn't try to text me. And then at 2 in the afternoon, you call me, you text me again saying you tried me. That tells me, no, you wasn't hungry. Mm-hmm. So everyone, that whole idea of about follow through, when you actually genuinely care about something, you got to make a shift. Don't play with it and say that you do, but follow through. Follow through. And so thank you for creating that opportunity for me to give something real, because that's the only reason why we don't have this thing filled out. Because we're not giving our very best with what it is we know to have in our hands. Where on a Saturday morning, why not give people an opportunity to get an opportunity to plug into a community that will completely transform their life?
Yes.
It doesn't take anything heavy lifting. Do it like you would when you got something that pops up on TV that is really about nothing, but yet you break your neck saying, ooh, something's on, this episode's on. Or this sale is happening, this happened. And literally we will promote Paul Revere, Paul Revere, Paul Revere, like crazy. But if you look at it, at the end of the day, it has no value add. Take what we have and who you are, because all I'm asking you to do is invite people to experience more of who you authentically are designed to be. And the more opportunities that happens, the greater your confidence and the more permission you give everybody else to be their very best version of themselves. So thank you for that, because that's a spirit-led comment that I'm giving you right now, because I know that right there is holding us back from reaching what we can be reaching, because for what we have to reach to is all through servicing of others. Help enough people get what they want, and you can get everything you want. Not because of some business, but because you're looking to serve.
Mhm.
And that's what makes us unique and very special. So thank you, dear. I appreciate you, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. You're welcome.
Yeah, Shirley, I've been praying for you, Lord Jesus.
That's okay.
I love you
Deb,
so
my
much.
favorite one too.
That's fine.
I get that a lot.
Okay.
But I'm not stopping. I want that growth, and it's beautiful.
That's right.
Excuse me, ladies, but
Yes.
Shirley has an accountable partner that helps her in her way.
Yes, I do. Angie, yes, I do.
You haven't seen the best of her yet, but it's coming.
Thank you.
Okay, I apologize, you guys. I thought somebody was anyway. So okay. So who's got some real talk? Who's got a question, a concern that you would love to pose that we can help you with? We've had questions anywhere from business, from personal development, to how do you know when to move on? How do you know your calling or your purpose in life? Anything relationship wise, whether you're single or married or divorced. Nate and I, we've been all three of them. Okay. Parenting, that one would be him. And of course, we would, you guys are able to contribute as well to the conversation. But who has a question? Yay. All right.
Listen up. So Sherilyn, I think, is back in, and
Okay.
and again, you guys, it's on you to make this morning what it always is. This is an open session, so let's not be bumps on a log. This is a time for engagement. Don't leave here without you having things answered, because if you didn't get the story from the beginning, Andrew and I's relationship began with her hiring me to be her coach. She paid $4,500 for a 90-day engagement with me. Right now, I'm giving that away. I can't turn myself off. You see, you only see that which is in you comes out of you. And because I continuously make the investment in personal growth and development, I continuously have stuff to give out. And so my encouragement to you is that you sit up straight, you get your mind right. This isn't a hangout session. This is about giving you value, because I don't want you to leave out here today and not be better armed to be of service to others. You see, the reason why this is so important for me, because my desire is to create a $10 million endowment fund. Let me say that again. My focus has been continuously for now over 20 years to create a $10 million endowment fund. My passion comes from the fact that at 19, when I walked the perimeter during Desert Storm, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. So my commitment has always been to do that. Well, identified the area in which I saw people were very short, but I'd always seen that has had the greatest impact on my life. And that is in 1996, the week that I graduated from West Point with degrees in engineering and sociology, I got introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship via network marketing. Well, for me, network marketing was never something about an opportunity. So all of those of you out there that are listening in and talking about business and getting in, please, those are words that I frown upon in this community, because I'm not trying to put you into something that you have gotten into. That's not what we are. You might have gotten connected through the shopping club, but the shopping club is not the value. $19 a year for you to save money, save time, get better quality products for real, for you to open an account that has no cost to opening up the account so that you can now get a handle on your finances, because now that you're shopping online, you're able to track your expenses. And tracking is the first step to creating a zero-based budget. And we know that if you're tracking and putting things down and actually accounting for it, it's going to help you to be more responsible, a better steward with what you've been given. No. That's the gift. To have you redirect money that you already are spending somewhere else, Walmart, Target, the grocery store. See, the fact of the matter is, I know that you shopped in January. I know that you shopped in February. I know that you shopped in March, and I suspect you've already shopped in April. I bet you'll shop in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So there's no question about whether or not the behavior is there. All we're looking to do is show you how to save money, save time, and get better quality products. Why do we want you to do that? Because 1 in 3 women are diagnosed with some form of cancer during their lifetime. The number 1 cancer killer for both men and women is not breast cancer, that's 4. It's not pancreatic cancer, that's 3. It's not colon cancer, that's 2. It's not any of those. The number 1 cancer killer for both men and women is lung cancer. And if most people don't smoke and most people are not around secondhand smoke, well, that right there is quite alarming. And so it's especially alarming since January 2018, a study came out that said that cleaning your home just once a week with certain products has equivalent impact on your lung capacity to smoking a pack of cigarettes per day for 20 years. That's alarming, especially right now in today's time, when you have the person holding the highest seat in the land talking about the possibility, suggesting the possibility that maybe, just maybe you could maybe do some injections and possibly do something that can maybe clean the lungs up. But I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, but maybe we should look into studying that. Really? Yeah, we have an assignment that's real simple, beginning with your own individual household. Because I believe that each one of you can surely agree that there is absolutely no smart reason whatsoever to knowingly continue to use poisonous products when there's safe, effective, and affordable products available. This is easy. And so all we're doing is giving people an opportunity to know where we shop at, where we shop. And if we can show people where we shop, we give them the opportunity. We educate, equip, and empower them with the opportunity to do something better for themselves and their family that's just smart. Great minds discuss ideas. That's a great idea. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events, but small minds discuss people. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. We're about developing great minds. And that means how to think versus what to think. How to think versus what to think. Because I knew in taking my soldiers in the battle, that if I got killed on the battlefield, the mission would still have to take place. And so that's all I see in each one of you, is that I'm developing the best force for the greatest cause. The greatest force for the greatest cause. No differently than me taking my soldiers in the battle. And so each and every day, I'm excited to be locked on with you as believers to go into battle to fight against ignorance and apathy and laziness and non-ambition and excuse making and lying. All these things that literally are shown at the highest level right now. So I do challenge you to be leaders. I won't accept anything less than, because our mission is too great in a time when the mission is too great to fall short. And so when I talk about the law of navigation, and then I'm coming back around to Sherilyn, the law of navigation, God raises up leaders to correct and direct. God raises up leaders to correct and direct. All you got to do is reference Revelation 11, 3-13. You see, John describes 2 remarkable witnesses whom God will raise up as leaders during the Great Tribulation. Notice how John portrays these 2 end-time leaders. Notice, and let me go ahead and throw my myself on live right now real quick, because, you know, sometimes when I see that we're moving in a different vein, I find myself being called to make sure that I don't waste those opportunities to let the world experience who we are and what we're about. And I want you to encourage each one of you, by you seeing me do this on a regular basis, that you decide to start living out loud, to allow yourself to be used each and every day and every moment. And so we're talking about the law of navigation this morning on Real Talk, the third part, three-part. The law of navigation: God raises up leaders to correct and direct. And this is laid out perfectly in Revelations 11, 3 through 13. You see, John describes two remarkable witnesses whom God will raise up as leaders during the Great Tribulation. Notice how John portrays these two end-time leaders. Pay attention now, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. I'm going to give you 7 points for you to reference about these two end-time leaders. Number one, they are given power over people and nature. They're given power over people and nature. Number two, they speak for the cause of righteousness. They speak for the cause of righteousness. Number three, they are burdened for the world's condition. They are burdened for the world's condition. Number four, they are a source of light and hope. They are a source of light and hope. Number five, they are given divine protection. They're given divine protection. Number six, they eventually die for their cause. They eventually die for their cause. And number seven, they and their cause ultimately succeed. Wow, wow, wow. Number seven, there's something special about seven. And I know Prophetess is going to be able to give me something. I know that there's going to be a spirit connection this morning on just that alone. Number seven, they and their cause ultimately succeed. Why will God raise up these leaders? Why? Because the world will always need someone to practice the law of navigation. Always. The spiritual vacuum in the world will call for leaders to correct and direct the people back to God. It will always cause people to direct and correct people back to God. God will raise up these two end leaders to chart the course for everyone. The question that I have for each and every one of you: how does your leadership stack up to theirs? How does your leadership stack up to theirs? You see, God's word has the ultimate blueprint for leadership. And I thank God for the fact that in 1996, when I got introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship, it forever changed my life. And as I've spoken around the world, I've shared with people, if you take away my degrees from West Point, engineering and sociology, if you take away my MBA from George Washington University or financial planning from Georgetown University, when I learned to pick up books and go to seminars and be around successful people, that's what laid the foundation for everything else I've gone on to do, including making my first million by 32. My excitement is that the greatest benefit of me being introduced to the world of personal growth and development and entrepreneurship is that I learned how to take God's word and apply it on a daily basis. When I learned to pick up books and go to seminars and be around successful people, it gave me the foundation to start to know how to think versus what to think. Miles Monroe says that knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. Knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. My heart's desire for each and every one of you this morning and moving forward, as you consider being a part of the Life is Rich community, is to recognize that our singular focus is to simply elevate you and to cause you to truly believe in God's word for your life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically, financially. That's why we're foundationally built on the promise of Matthew 6:33, that if we follow the instructions by first seeking him first and all of his righteousness, that the promise that is offered to us, that all things thereafter shall be added unto you, will take place and follow through with number 7. They and their cause ultimately succeed. Marvin Sapp has a song that says, I believe what you told me. I believe that you will supply all my needs. I believe that you will give me my heart's desire. I believe that you will come through. Do you understand? Can you get excited about the promise? Well, if you can, then that means you're able to connect to the spirit in which we operate. And as long as your heart's right, then there's no question about whether or not the outcomes are going to be as you hope and desire. I can't tell you about the timing of it, but I can assure you that it's going to come to pass, because we serve a God that can't lie. I didn't say he wouldn't lie. I said that he can't lie. The word simply says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Well, hope is foundationally built and understood to be an expectation. So on today, I want you to walk away and engage with us during this blocked out time in which we're here to serve you. I want you to have an expectation of breakthrough today, that you remove all doubt, that you draw a line in the sand, and you decide who and where do you put your trust. Because we're not asking you to trust us. What I'm trusting you is to trust the God in which I serve, because I know that I'm on assignment and that I'm an instrument for him. And if you can adopt that, if that spirit touches your spirit, which I tell you, there's no confusion, you will know immediately, and you'll be saying yes automatically. You won't be teeter-tottering. You won't need no additional information. What you'll do is you'll move into action, and your life will be changed starting right now. That's what salvation truly looks like. And so I'm excited to be used this morning. I'm excited for what's to come to pass. Know that hope in the future is what gives you power in the present. Hope in the future is what gives you power in the present. If you're hoping for something, then that lets me know as a believer, and I'm expecting that you've been praying for it. And if that is truly the case, if you're truly hoping, then that means you have an expectation that it's going to come to pass. And if that's what your belief is, then that means you're going to be showing through your life's work that you're actually walking it out and you're acting in accordance to, and no one has to ever wonder what you believe and what you're hoping for, because it will be shown through your actions on a daily basis. All right. And so, man, let me go ahead and open it up. And then I want to come back around to, let me begin with you, Prophetess. If you would, go ahead and introduce yourself and share what do you get as a result of what I just shared. And then I'm gonna come back around to each and every one of you. We're gonna take an intermission break and ask what did you get of value from what we've shared this morning. So go ahead, Prophetess, talk to us. Share with us what you got of who you are, where you're from. Congratulations on being one of our honorees last night, and let us know what you're expecting to get from this morning and what was communicated in what I just now shared.
Amen. Amen. Good morning and morning. Can you hear me, Nate?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Good morning. My name is Prophetess Sherilyn Clay. I come by way of McKinney, Texas. This is my 3rd month with Life is Rich, with Nate and Andrea Scott and the community. What I've got out with the recapping of what you said this morning, I want to share this. When you said about the blueprint with Life is Rich, this is what I'm getting, what you're saying. As God told me a while back in the beginning of last year about get his people back to the blueprint, not knowing that that I would be in 2020 hearing about the blueprint. And what he was saying back then, you stated it, it's about correcting what has been wrong, where God's people have not been directed in a way that will cause their life to be shifted and changed to a better position that they were had been before, living the life of having no directions, having no positive instructions on how to live that would benefit them, to have principles in their lives that would direct them daily of how to better their lives. And so that as a minister and a prophetess, that's what I was teaching on my Monday calls. And here I meet you in January, you and your wife, and you're talking about the blueprint, and then you're mentioning here with number, I think it was 6, correct and direct the people back to God. When life is rich, what I've realized is that one of the things that I've learned in my class is the principles that you have laid out. One of the principles is that you said daily, you told God daily that you will get up every day and you would serve and you would apply what you have learned. So what I have learned, you told me that I was an asset. Number one, people need to know that they're an asset. What does that mean? You told me that authentically be yourself, and that if you can be yourself, the true you and everything in you will come out of you if you allow me to help you to be that authentic person. You don't have to fake. You don't have to be something that you're not. Just be you. And I've learned that since I've been in Life is Rich. I get up every day. I make plans at night, you know, that I'm going to do this tomorrow if I live to see it. And I literally get up and I do that. I apply that I'm going to be encouraged. I encourage myself that whatever I write down that I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do it and follow up and see what that day is going to bring me. And I noticed that because I started writing everything down. You said, write the vision. Blueprint is actually writing down the vision, something that you can see by faith. You know, you can talk it, but if you don't see it. And I've learned that when I write things down and I talk it out loud, then it manifests. I can hear it and I can see it. And it's kind of funny how you can speak out loud in vision. But the Bible says, so you speak it. You know, when you speak it, that's power. So when you speak it, you can hear it. And the Bible says, those who have an ear, let them hear. So that's not just saying spiritual. That's in anything, basically, that we deal with. And so I'm excited because I have learned truly how to apply what I want out of Life is Rich. I want to know how to create lasting wealth, right? I wanted to know. And so now I know how to do it, create or everlasting wealth. It's because I literally get up and I serve by sharing what I've learned to people that I call on my list every day and share the 7-minute video and let them look at it, and I question them. And I share, you know, I listen. You know, one of the things she said also, to listen to people. Listen, ask them about themselves and listening. So every day is learning to listen to each other, learning to see what each other needs. You know, you're a servant. You know, you learn to not to be selfish, and you're learning to serve. And what else is it? And oh yes, in Matthew 6:33, you say, seek my people who call about my name, you know, who humble themselves and pray. I'm going away from 6:33 for a moment. That's another thing. We're humbling ourselves to see God in what your authentic you is, who your authentic you are, and how to place yourself in position and the people that you come around to grow with. You're putting yourself in a position to find out where you fit in so that you can be comfortable being that you know, and that's when you learn the aspect. You begin to share you, and so that's my takeaway about everything. I'm just learning every day how to enjoy growing and being the better me, and how I can serve others being who I am. And that's big to me because of where I came from and what I have gone through. Each day developing to be a better person in every aspect of my life, not just as a woman of God, but as a grandmother, a mother, a friend, a sister, a aunt, and just literally sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And then the fact that when you die for the cause, that is so powerful to me. You die for the cause. That's what Christ did. He developed disciples. Let me say this. This is the blueprint of this part of the blueprint. He said, take my people back and develop disciples. This is what he did. He developed disciples, and he poured himself, and he told them, this is what you're going to be doing, because I will not be with you always. Nate is teaching you these things because you're going to have to one day fly. You have to one day, do some things on your own. And I may not be here, so let me impart me into you. So that's what Christ did with the disciples. He departed in them he knew what they needed to know to carry on once he was no longer there. And he poured everything that he could into them because he knew when his time was going to be up. And this is what I believe that Nate is saying to us. I'm pouring everything that I can into you because I remember God said that Nate and his wife have mastered. They have mastered what they have gone through. So, and if you've mastered what you've gone through, there's a way of technical teaching that you can teach, and you can reach every person, not a particular person of people, but you can reach anybody if they want it. And so that's the attitude I believe that Christ had with the disciples. I'm training you to walk with me to see what I do. And if you see what I do and I teach you how to do it, Peter Fish, then you would know how to do it and then begin to apply it while I am with you. I want to watch you and train you how to do it. And if you allow me to give me your heart, and that's what Christ did. He gave them his heart. He gave them this heart. And all they had to do was gravitate to the heart and the passion that he delivered in. And that's what God is saying. Take my blueprint. Nate said, take my blueprint and deliver and serve in the passion that I am. And then you understand why I'm teaching the way that I'm teaching. And that's exactly what Christ did with the disciples. And then he said, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to send you out. And I'm going to teach, so that you'll be able to serve the way that I'm serving. You'll be able to deliver the way I'm delivering. You'll be able to have faith and walk in it the way that I'm showing you the faith. And he sent the Holy Spirit as a comforter to help them. He said, because he knew that they were struggling with him, who is the miracle one, who is the one who they saw healed, delivered, and set free and cast out demons, but yet they still didn't believe. So I know that as they go along, he's wondering why some of you, you're seeing me deliver, you're seeing me train, you see me, and some you're still not believing. But those things are going to happen because they did that with Christ. But the fact of it is, keep doing it unto death. He did it until it was time for him to go with the Father. He never gave up on the 12. He never gave up because he knew that the message was continue to depart in them until they got it. And yet, when the Comforter came, they knew, even though they thought they were tired, and they Peter came back and he did the same thing when Christ went. He went back to remind them. So who are we? We're the reminders of those when they get tired. We're the ones to go and pick it back and say, hey, we got this. Remember when they said this? Remember when Andrea said that? We got this. And so we're there to serve one another, push one another, and daily. That was the key, with me. Daily, apply these principles, and you will see the end result. And I always say this, in the end, I'm going to win, no matter what I put my hand to. The word say that it's going to prosper. But I got to do it in faith because without the work, faith is dead. And so every day work while it's yet day. And I know that in the end, everything that I have done, practice on, and articulated and put my hands to, I know that success has to come forth because God said, I watch over my word to perform in your life. So if I speak these principles, I operate in these principles, then with him, all of these things are going to come to pass. And that's it.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. I want to now go to Angie Maury. Introduce yourself. Actually, you've already done that. So talk to me. What value have you gotten thus far from this morning as we've shared? What's the value that you've gotten?
I think, like you said, I think I came out of listening to Charlene saying, wow, 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 myself. As I think about the different areas of blueprint that you mentioned earlier and Charlene expounded on, I just think about life as we're living it now and how you talked about correcting that which is wrong. And I just gotta make it personal. I think as I go through this financial peace university journey, I just keep seeing how wrongly I was taught and wrongly how the practices around finances was presented to me. And now being in a space where I'm learning the right way to address the money that I earn in my life and to how to manage it from a debt-free perspective. Um, I think about even the emotions I have gone through, just trying to stay on course, just being optimistic, believing the word of God, believing the teachings that I am getting from the Financial Peace University, and applying it. You talk over and over and over and over again about practicing the biblical principles that we read constantly, in our devotionals, in our study of the Bible, and how to live out righteous living. I mean, the Lord says that His burden is light, and it is light because the rebellion is us. The instruction that He gives us to do, if we get outside of our head and processing the way we want things to unfold and just trust Him by His word, His burden is light. So I got a couple of different things out of what was just shared, but that one kind of stood out, and it stood out when you said the part about the leader will die for his cause, and we have to know what our cause is. I mean, we have to know what cause pulls at our heartstrings and go for that. That's our passion. That's our drive. That's the thing that we live for. That's what God has put us on this earth for and gifted us to be able to address. And then the last thing that I got from you was the cause will succeed. How powerful is that? All right. If we get on this journey and we stick with it and we identify our cause and God walks along with us, because the cause that He has allowed us the gifting to address is how we honor and we worship Him and we serve Him on this place we call earth. And like He says in His word, His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So that's my takeaway for today. I'm so glad that I just made the time to be part of this real talk experience today. So thank you.
Awesome, Andrea.
Oh,
Hey everyone, thank you for that, Angie, and Prophetess Clay. Just very, very insightful. When Sherilyn was sharing, one of the things that came to mind was she was talking about Jesus and the disciples. And I just wanted to share that I think about the parallels in how Jesus taught the 12, and not just the 12 immediate, his circle, but there were thousands and thousands that followed him. When he was teaching the 12, he taught them how to think by parables, posing questions. And I think about that parallel and how, as Nate coaches us and shares with us, and asking all of those questions. You know, my mom and I, we were walking yesterday, and she said, we were talking about the director debut and celebration, and she said, I know we're gonna have to share, you know, what we value the most. And I said, yeah, you know, because that keeps the conversation from being so surface. You know, it's like you can go to your you know, those conversations are conversations you have on your job with your coworkers. Hey, you know, how's it doing? Or, you know, surface stuff. But he wants to develop great minds and great thinkers. And that goes beyond the surface, because most people have surface relationships. And one of the things I know about Nate is that he doesn't have surface relationships. His relationships mean something. And just like Jesus, who wants to have more than just a surface relationship with us, you know, with those that he loves and he cares about. And so in teaching the disciples, you know, how to think, it was always asking them questions, you know, and speaking in parables so that they could begin to engage, because he wasn't going to be there always. And now let me teach you how to think, because I'm not going to be always here to give you the answers. And so sometimes we just want to be force fed. We want, I know for me, it's like, just give me the answer, Nate. You know, I don't have time for all of this, trying to think it through. And he just, and he says it even to me as his wife, you know, stop being a lazy thinker. And that's not always a pleasant thing to hear, but when, you know, the truth is the thing that shall make you free. And so knowing that truth, it's like, you know what, when did I stop being a thinker? You know, at some point we got to ask ourselves the hard questions. And so as he does with Jesus, and, you know, even Jesus was obedient even unto the cross. And so I'm thankful for Nate because of his obedience to the mission that God gave him. And while Jesus had the obedience to the cross at Calvary, you know, there's also a cross that we carry as developing leaders, as those of us who are being coached by him to be better and to be producers and to be people that will raise up another generation of those that are coming behind us. It's the cross of criticism. You know, I watched him bear the cross of criticism. You know, who does he think he is? And I've seen that. The cross of rejection. You know, people just rejecting you because they don't understand you. How many people didn't understand Jesus? You know, they said he wasn't who he said he was. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Isn't that the carpenter's son? You know, who is he telling me, you know, who is he to tell me what to do? The cross of rejection, the cross of abandonment. When you have a great vision and people don't buy into your vision because they see you from the filters of their own limited thinking. And so people limit you because of their own limitations in their own mind. They see you how they last knew you. And this goes back to Denise and what she shared in the beginning. You know, people knew you from that conversation, but they weren't around for the growth. They weren't around for the nights where you cried, you know, cried yourself to sleep at midnight because you were just like, God, there's got to be more. There's got to be more, you know. And when you opened yourself up to that, to receive more, and God said, okay, you know, let me give this to you. You're now the bearer of the vision for your family or for your children, for your friendship circle, or for the community. The cross of having to sometimes bear that loneliness, you know, and thinking, you know, will it ever come to pass? Will my vision ever come to pass? Will I just die? And will nobody ever get it? And I'm so grateful that, as I shared last night, that, you know, God will always send someone who will get it and who will partner in the unfolding of that vision. And in this case, for Life is Rich, I was that one that saw the vision and saw the man and saw the mind and saw the brilliance and believed enough in it to say, you know what, sign me up. Sign me up. And for each of you that are part of the Life is Rich community that said, sign me up, you know, I'm on board. I want to be one of them, those great minds that God, that's not just, you know, able to be emotional in the way that I communicate, but I can also help people to think through. You know, my profession is not, you know, Deb is a psychologist or therapist or whatever it is that the title, but she's been trained to help people to think through their own thoughts. And that's something that, you know, Nate does. God has given him the gift to do that. And the experiences to back it up. And so for him to be able to share that, for those of you guys who are open and receptive to any ideas and people that will help you to achieve your goal of financial, what is it? What is it, Nate? I think I messed it up. Wealth or something, not financial wealth.
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
Of dramatic wealth, that's the word, dramatic wealth. And so wealth, you guys, most people think wealth is just money. Wealth is every area of our lives, you know, every area of our lives. And so you could have somebody sleeping on the bridge that might be broke. Their circumstances may look broken, but they're not broke in their mind. And so we can't overlook, you know, those people and think that they don't have the potential to be great. You know, but I just wanted to share that. Nate, thank you for that, because that is, thank you for the parables. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the hard coaching. And thank you for demanding that, like Deb said, that we bring our best, our very best to the table. Thank you for all the video clips that you send us to give us, you know, it's like, okay, if y'all not hearing me, maybe y'all will hear this, maybe you'll see this, and, you know, and that type of thing. And so I just appreciate you. And I'm thankful that before we even had a relationship, that I was able to see, that I was able to put myself in a position to be coached and to see you as the carrier of a message that no one else was sharing, and to be able to experience this growth in this community real time as it is. And I know that God has even more in store for us. So thank you for giving me a chance to share.
Outstanding. So once again, I want to find out from someone else who's next. Let's see. Alima, if you would share with me, what value have you gotten thus far this morning? What have you gotten as a result of being on this morning? So introduce yourself, where you're from, and why you're here, and what value have you gotten?
Hello, Alima Harmon from Philly. I pretty much missed the whole call, but I did catch.
So let me pause for a minute right there. Let's pause right here. Here's a lesson for everybody. No matter where you are and what you do, there's always the opportunity for you to gain value right where you're at. We've got this bad habit of always trying to begin things with the explanation. I want to encourage you to break that. Break that, because that's the precursor to making excuses. No matter where you're at and what situation you're in, start being accountable for every moment, and start putting yourself in a situation where you are intentional about listening and asking, so what? See, I'm asking some very particular questions, and this is a common thing. Oftentimes also, people will get my book and I'll say, oh, you got my book. What value have you gotten from it? Well, I've only read a page of it, and many times they tell me that, but truth of the matter is they never even opened up the book. They literally say that as a knee-jerk reaction, because we are conditioned, sadly enough, to literally be closet liars. In the Life is Rich community, what we want to do is develop a higher standard. And that is, if you just read one page of something, speak from that one page. If you're on this call for 1 minute, speak on the 1 minute. Because the question is always, what value have you gotten? And don't be afraid to say, I haven't gotten anything. You don't ever have to feel like you have to fill in the space. I know Shirley last night spoke about the thing that she's learned about being in the one-on-one coaching with me is filling up space and feeling like you got to have a comment and that you got to say something. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Listen is a higher form of communication. Listening, there's another note for you. Listening, truly listening is a higher form of communication. And it's the most, it's the area that most people are weak in. So that's another note for you to take away. And so let's restart. What value have you gotten? Well, first things first, who are you? Where are you from? Why did you get on? Meaning what is it that you were hoping to get from being on, investing your time? And then lastly, what value have you gotten thus far?
Okay. So I'm Alima Harmon, and I am from Philly. Why did I get on? I got on because I knew it was going to be a call this morning, and I want to get whatever nuggets that I can get. You know, I like the sharing what I got just from what I heard. 1, 2, 3 people talk this morning for the last few minutes, and I like the connection between the spiritual aspects of this group, of this community, and the biblical perspectives, in addition to the business side and how not business, but how you want to go out and share the information with others.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for sharing. All right, let's go to Kim Brown. Welcome. Congratulations as one of our honorees from last night. If you would, Kim, share who you are and what value have you gotten thus far, and anything else that you'd like to share because you are a veteran.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name's Kimberly Brown, and I live right outside Philadelphia. And I too just came onto the call, and it's funny. I probably would have started my sentence the same way that Alima did, and I'm thankful because actually that is part of my takeaway. Because I probably would have, like I said, I would have said, hey, well, I just hopped onto the call. However, so part of my takeaway is the fact that it's okay to the space that, or the time that you are put into a situation, just acknowledge it and don't feel the need to, let's say, preface it or to, to make an excuse. And then what is the reason? Is it to kind of, who is that to pacify? Is it to make me feel better? Or is it to attempt to smooth, the transition with myself and, let's say, the facilitator? In this case, it would be you and Andrea, or in any situation, just be okay with the fact that, okay, here I am, let's see what I can gain. And, if I wasn't, didn't have the opportunity to gain anything at the point of entry to that situation, it's okay to acknowledge it. But in this case, I did gain something. The mere fact that just accept where I am, where I joined, and see what I can get from that particular situation. And then also, I am encouraged with the mere fact that on a Saturday morning, we have this opportunity to get together to have whether it's professional development, an opportunity to share what's going on, that's truly encouraging, because how in our regular world, let's say, do we have opportunities for this? Some do, but the amount of access, that's what it is. We have pretty much unlimited access to this. So I think that's tremendous. So I'm good.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Christine. Oh, and hold on one more second, Christine. Deb, I see your hands up.
And I forgot I wasn't on mute. So pardon my manners, Christine. I apologize, because I went, no, I felt like, ooh. Okay. So can I speak frankly?
Real talk, you should.
Real talk. I am a therapist. I do group therapy 5 days a week with people who are struggling with the disease of addiction. And so we are real. That's a real environment every day. So I need to share with this group several things. But the first thing I'm going to say is I was nervous to talk today for all the noise that I had in my head. And I'm going to say that we talk about active listening, but it's a challenge to actively listen when you are preparing in your mind for what you're going to say when your name is called. I'm owning that. If nobody else feels it, great. Tell me what you do to keep it in check. But to emotionally regulate yourself after you've had a mini coaching session, if you will, is a challenge. I'm just going to be 100% honest with that. And then can I share my takeaway from what you discussed regarding the 7 points? I can say this, that on my way while Sherilyn was talking and while you were talking, but I'm going to say it morphed into when Sherilyn was speaking, I was headed in my Bible to Revelations, to the scripture references. And on my way to Revelations, what do? I open my Bible and 2 Peter is there. So as a spiritual person, I just talked about this with my mother this morning. Because we're spiritual, I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe in chance and luck. I just believe that the Lord just orchestrates everything in our lives. And so on my way to Revelations, boom, 2 Peter has in my Bible, and it's the new, my Bible is the New International Version Life Application Study Bible. And it was my aunt's Bible, and my grandma gave it to me after she passed away. So, it's really special to me. And boom, the blueprint is right there in 2 Peter. And 2 Peter only has 3 chapters. So I am not a prophetess. I'm not a minister. So I'm not even gonna, that's outside of my scope of practice. But I am gonna say, please, when you get a chance, it's 3 chapters. Read it, because it was right there today. And I believe that the Lord gives us confirmation through his word and his people. I think he speaks through his people and his word, and then boom, there it is, our guidance for Christians, to be the day, he has 3 chapters. The first one is guidance for growing Christians, and then 2 is the danger to growing Christians, and then 3, hope for us. And so I'm going to go back and revisit this and read it and read the chapter. Read the whole 2 Peter. So I wanted to share that. But Nate, this morning, I got on this call because I had some specific questions. Angie shared something yesterday, and I was like, oh, I want to know how to do that. So Angie shared, I'm excited for Angie's growth in financial literacy. And one of the things I love about this community is we don't have to wonder and guess like, oh, what do they do? How do they do that? We can just do the same. And I know that Angie attended Financial Peace University when I attended the first time, and she's gone back and gone back and gone back, and she's having fantastic success. And I want some of that. Not because of fear of missing out, just because I need it. And so I want to say that I'm excited about that. And I actually want to know when you come back on, or when we get to that, what is a $10 million endowment fund? What is that? I do know that, you know, there are endowed professors. I'm an adjunct professor. I've been over at Fayetteville State for 7 years. So I know that at some schools, especially the really large schools, there are endowed professors and that kind of thing, but I don't fully understand it. And sometimes I can feel uncomfortable asking the basic question, even though I'm a questions asker. So if I'm living my life out loud, every day I say, this is a no judgment zone. This is a judgment-free, safe zone. So, you know, you got to be comfortable with asking whatever. There's no dumb question. Just ask it, and we're going to get to, we want to make sure you have what you need. And I know that this is that type of community, family, culture, environment. And so I want to know, what is a $10 million endowment fund? What is it actually? And why? Why is that your goal? And what for? What are you going to do with that? I just want to know more about that.
All right. Am I able to address that now? Let's go ahead and do that. So thank you for asking that question. I need you guys to grab your pen and paper. Grab your pen and paper, because I want you to be able to run with this. I need you to be able to carry it on. And here's why. Let's go back to what I shared earlier. The law of navigation. God raises up leaders to correct and to direct. John describes two remarkable witnesses whom God will raise up as leaders during the Great Tribulation. Notice how John portrays these two end-time leaders. Number one, they are given power over people and nature. Now, I don't have power over you, but I think that if each one of us really reflects on where we direct our respect, I think that you can probably outline where you give your true respect to people, where you trust people, what causes you to listen to people. And I always give this thing about when information is given to you to go with who, what, when, where, why, and how. You know, who was the person? Meaning, why should you listen to them? Do they have any type of credibility? What's their background? Whatever. Why should you be listening to them? Based upon what? What are they saying? How did they say it? When did they say it? Did they say it when they knew you were at your wit's end? You know, did they manipulate you? You know, I see people right now talking about the stimulus packs and talking about you should be setting up a home-based business and all the manipulation. Because most of the people are only doing it just because they think it was a ploy to capture you at your weak state. I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm just simply saying be discerning, check the spirit, check the intentions, check their history. You see, those are things that you should be asking critically. So they are given power over people and nature. So I think I have a basis for having influence over people. I don't say power, but I definitely have influence. And I have influence that's based upon something that is sound for anyone that's discerning and looking critically. And I've availed myself to that, even in situations like this where I'm openly, publicly on Facebook, leaving myself open to all type of arrows to be shot at me. I record things so that people can go back and listen and look at to see exactly what I said. So I don't leave myself open to no lies. Well, ye said this, you know, we got a culture right now that people will go and turn a blind eye beyond any reason and give people a pass when they would never, ever give someone a pass in their own life. craziness. They'll fight and defend absolute lies. And I'm like, thank God that we got the ability to record stuff and push replay. And then they'll show you the replay, and then they'll still try to tell you that you're crazy. That's like someone in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
Hey, babe, you walk into the bedroom and somebody banging somebody, and they tell you, it's not what it seems. Really? Help me to understand that. So, golly. So there you go. They're giving power over people in nature. So I think that's a check if we're evaluating against what God's word says. Number 2, they speak for the cause of righteousness. The Lord knows. All I'm doing is that when I say to you, we're foundationally built on God's word, which says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness. All of his righteousness. Go look up the word, see what it means, understand what that looks like. They speak to the cause of righteousness. All I've ever done is talk to you about leaning on his word and actually make that a part of your life. Number 3, they are burdened for the world's condition. 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger. 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 of retirement. 47% of people say that they had a $400 emergency, they would have to sell something or borrow money to address it. 78% of people say that they're living paycheck to paycheck. 31% of people say that they got that stimulus check of $1,200 that it wouldn't last them a month. Those are the real conditions. That's what my heart bleeds for. Because I was fortunate enough to have made decisions that enabled me to retire financially at 32. And that caused me to start getting cold call from people that were marketers looking to do business with me. I was looking for someone to be my financial advisor. I was actively screening people, but they didn't know in their calls that I was a West Pointer with degrees in engineering and sociology, that I had an MBA from George Washington University, that I did financial planning at Georgetown University, and I was seeking someone to delegate to. As a former enlisted soldier, see, I understand the value of people in their role and their position, and I'm not this big I, little me guy. I understand that even a soldier can do his job to support the person that is the leader, the officer. I don't have that issue with the rank and thinking as if the person that is in a different role is less than. So I was looking for someone to delegate to because I would respect that person to do their job. But because of their responses to me and my questioning, it made me wonder if they were just salespeople. And that's what caused me to go into the business. And within a week of being in the financial services business with a global wealth management firm, UBS, I realized within a week that my background and my experiences didn't matter. I looked around the offices and I saw that there were not other people that had my degrees. I didn't see other people that had on their own merit became financially independent. What I learned and realized that it wasn't a job of making people money. It was a job of having enough people say I was a great guy. Think about that. Think about how people end up getting in situations being manipulated because all they did was they put the trust in somebody being liked. They liked someone because that person had the ability to pick up the phone and say, hey, can you open up your account with me? I'm now working here. Can you open up your account? And a person just decides to go with them because that was my friend, that was my brother, that was my cousin. So within a week of being here, I realized that all I had to do was work to just get people to know me. And so that's what enabled me then to be in a position to start working with people. And within a week of being and as I did that for job, I realized that I was trying to help people to change their lives, but I wasn't getting paid for that. Because if I directed them to the products and services of the company in which I worked for, most people could not ever retire because they didn't make enough money. They didn't have enough money and they didn't earn enough money and they couldn't get a great enough return. And I couldn't make the return happen because I didn't control the market and I wasn't getting paid for that. I was getting paid for gathering assets under management, putting them in something for the benefit. And then I had to go find the next client because that's how I was going to get paid. And that was alarming to me because I was then had to do the harder right over the easier wrong, which was simply advise people based on what I knew to be true. But fortunately, I was in a position financially that I could do that. And that's what opened up this whole world of what Life is Rich is, where I tell people what the bankers and brokers don't tell them. So I stand in this role carrying the burden of the world's condition on the financial side and on the side of health, because 1 in 3 women are diagnosed with some form of cancer during their lifetime. The number 1 cancer killer for both men and women is not breast cancer, that's 4. It's not pancreatic cancer, that's 3. It's not colon cancer, that's 2. The number 1 cancer killer for both men and women is lung cancer. And this is a personal endeavor for me because my mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. My father-in-law passed away from pancreatic cancer. My pastor 2 years ago was diagnosed with cancer in September, died in October, was buried in November. And my grandmother at 92 on January the 12th, 2020, passed away after a year of battling cancer. So this is a personal endeavor, but I know that it impacts the world's condition. So this $10 million endowment fund, here's what it looks like. I just told you about the conditions. As a former founding board president of a nonprofit organization and someone that served on the Mayor's Human Rights Commission during this time in which I was getting a good name, I was doing all these things. I became the founding board president of a nonprofit called Rebuilding Together. I then also was asked to serve on the Mayor's Human Rights Commission. So I did that. Actively, of course, getting calls from people from fundraising, all these things. I knew what an endowment fund was because I was a part of a group that was putting together an endowment fund to recognize a prominent African-American. And so I also knew that the challenge for nonprofits was always going back and getting new money, going back and asking for new money. Well, as an entrepreneur, I called myself a social entrepreneur, which means that I looked at social issues and looked at, well, what could we do as an entrepreneur to put organization in a position to know how to fish versus just giving a fish. And so as I thought about this issue of money being raised, I said, a $10 million endowment fund, assuming a 5% rate of return, would pay out $500,000 a year for programming. You follow me? See, somebody's very affluent, sets aside, or organization, a nonprofit, a church, a school, a whatever, receives a $10 million endowment fund or builds it up to being a $10 million endowment fund, which means that money is just sitting and somebody's in a position of managing those funds for the purposes of it growing each year. And whatever the growth of it is what's used for programming purposes. The principle is never touched. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The principle is never touched. And so if you got a $10 million endowment fund and you're getting a 5% rate of return through that person, that's the financial advisor that's growing it, they got it in a fund or whatever, then the organization, it's got $500,000 that they now can budget for their programming. They can take care of their payroll, they can take care of the programming, all those things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what I said was, I know what it is that I charge for different things, be it my workshops or my coaching or whatever. As I said, my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, in September 2015, she paid $4,500 for a 90-day working engagement with me as a coach. So I've got examples of what the pricing is, for example. And then I'm sure that several of you that have worked on one-on-one with me, you've seen the true financial result of working with me, and you can put something to it. And then you being a counselor, what hourly rate and all. We got enough examples. So you got to think about, well, how hard would it be for me to ask for $1,000 to charge a price, because price is what you pay, value is what you get. Would you be willing to pay $1,000 for the value? If you paid $1,000, do you think I can deliver 10,000 or more in value to you? And the answer is yes. My mastermind program is $15,000 a year. So with that being the baseline, I said, if I take 50 people in a year's time frame, i.e. 2020. That's essentially what we're doing now. And I help those persons to earn $100,000. And then I said, I want you to give back 10%. That's $10,000. But I don't want you to give it to me. What I want you to do is I want you to take that 10,000 and I want you to give your own scholarships. I want you to identify 10 people to get the same training, access, coaching, development, i.e. the Life is Rich mentoring program that's documented in Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. That's communicated in chapter 13. I want you to take 10% of that which I've given to you, because I can't take it away from you. Once every one of you all that's listening in today, I can't take away anything that I've given to you. I know you're getting value. That's why I'm walking around asking you, what value have you gotten? Because I want to solidify in your own mind for you to recognize, whoa, Nate gave me without asking for money from me. I didn't get charged for anything. He literally gave to me, and all I had to do was be actively engaged, and I'm walking away better. Ooh. Ooh. So I'm not having an attitude when he tells me, nope, you can't participate anymore because you're not a part of the community. This is your try before you buy, because I know free don't work. So now when you come to your own conclusion that I've truly helped you to create that which you now have tangibly, and I can't take it away from you, and you are now educated and equipped to go do it again for yourself. That's a greater return than you and your college degree. How can Nate say that? I'm not one of those guys that don't have the college degrees. See, it's funny about, you got people that don't have college degrees that tell you college degrees don't matter. Work for yourself, be an entrepreneur. They don't have the degree. They've never actually gotten to a highest level of a company. Yet they want to tell you don't do it because that's what they didn't do. No, I don't have that perspective. I can tell you it has a purpose. Whatever has a purpose, but it's not to be and all, because I'm not raising my children to go to college. I'm not raising them to go to college. What I'm raising them to do is how to think versus what to think. I need them to make smart decisions based on what their end game is. What do you want to accomplish? So I can then tell you the right path to move on. So now that you have gotten this education, that you now know that you can go do it again and again and again and again, all I'm asking you is take 10% and pay it forward. So with 50 people that I've given at least $1,000 of value, no, $1,000 in price, not of the value, because the value I know is infinite. 50 that now know how to make 100,000. When they make the 100,000, not know how to do it, but they do it. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you to give 10% back. That's just 10,000. 50 times 10,000 is 500,000. Mm-hmm. That's the equivalent of a $10 million endowment fund. Not having you go, not trying to chase putting away $10 million, but building something that's self-sustainable. That's what nonprofits miss. That's what families miss, who in turn operate based upon the traditional idea of financial planning. That's why I wrote Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. Because the financial danger that no one is talking about is that unknown variable of life happening. Divorce, mm-hmm. being laid off, failing health, COVID-19, the thing that causes furlough, the thing that causes people to start closing their doors or not opening their doors when someone says you can open it, because they know that in doing so, it's be suicidal. Mm-hmm. The financial danger that no one is talking about is the unexpected once you've done all that you had planned to be set for life. But when you're ready to now begin living your life, lo and behold, the market is the lowest it's ever been. And now that what you thought you had, you realize now was only a paper gain. People want to talk about their wealth and their house and all the things that they have, but don't understand it ain't there unless you sell it. Those stocks that you think are up X amount of dollars isn't there unless you sell it. You just got to hope that you take it out when it's high. And then you're going to be mad that you took it out because it continues to go up. And now you're mad because you didn't hold on longer. And then when it goes down, you're like, I wish I had sold it.
Yeah.
So to that end, how do we address that? Cash flow. So the $10 million endowment fund comes from the fact that I know what it looks like and what nonprofits deal with. And I know what we've got to do to address these issues, because fortunately God has put me in positions to know it from every angle, to know the risks, to know the rewards, to be able to speak to power, to be able to say, okay, this is what you say, but let's talk about it. Don't get me talking about what's the return. Well, the market is giving us 8 to 10% return, and this is historical. That no, make good money off of bad numbers. Let's start with 5%. Let's just go 5% as a baseline. Let's not go with let's under promise, over deliver. So all I'm doing is seeking those individuals in which I can sow into, because I know the seed is good. The seed is good. And all we got to do is just put people in a position to know how to think versus what to think. And the blueprint is laid out in Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. And I'm going to, let me give you this last thing real quick. Chapter 11 is framed with Mark chapter 4, 14 through 20. And it's entitled Residual Income Retirement Planning. And I say, the sower soweth the word. And these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of the world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word, and receive it, and bring forth fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. The $10 million endowment fund is just, once again, the practical application of me helping you to walk it out. I read God's word, and then I say, so what? How do I bring this to pass? Because it's already promised, and he said that he would supply all my needs. And he said that he'd give me my heart's desire. And I know that he will come through. So I told you, the law of navigation, God raises up leaders to correct and direct. Number one, they are given power over people and nature. Number two, they seek for the cause of righteousness. Number three, they are burdened for the world's condition. Number four, they are a source of light and hope. That's all I'm here to do, is to be a source of light and hope, and to inspire each one of you to be a source of light and hope. Hope in the present gives you power in the
future.
Hope in the future gives you power in the present. Hope is an expectation. The word says, now faith is a substance of things. Hope for. I know what you're expecting God to do in your life by what you do. Hope, praying is the precursor to what you're expecting God to do for you. That's where faith comes in. You got to have faith. And without faith, you can't please God. Number 5, they are given divine protection. I have no fear. He's already covered me. He covered me when I was 19, walked the perimeter during Desert Storm. And I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I never will be still day of my life. I'm bulletproof. I fear no one. I fear nothing. I can walk alone. He's armed me with this courage, this boldness, this unapologetically fearlessness. I don't try to be liked. I ask people to judge my character. They are given divine protection. Number 6, they eventually die for their cause. Hey, all on the line. I sow myself into others, especially women, because I said, if I were to die right now, I just want to have sown enough seeds so that you all will be able to say, I've given you more than you can repay, and that you're willing to pass it on to my children. Legacy, 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 legacy. And then lastly, they and their cause ultimately succeed. I succeed by you succeeding. I fail if you fail, because that means I'm not producing. God has called us to produce. And if I help each and every one of you to grow, to develop legacies for you and your family, and then I ask you to sow it into others, then that means I'm immortal. The message will never die. So that's the $10 million endowment fund. Are we clear, Deb? Do you have any questions with that?
Clear.
Clear? Thank you for causing me to do that. I've never shared a message like that. I've never given everybody that, but praise God for that. So let that be the fire. Understand that you didn't join anything. I didn't get you guys in anything. I don't promote nobody's company. I promote God's people. And all I'm doing is just saying, here's how you can connect to me, because you don't want to cast you don't want to cast your pearls. You Delta ladies, you don't want to cast those pearls upon swine. So there's an expectation. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard someone give the acronym of HOPE to mean help one person every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Give somebody hope every day. And that's just the reach outs. That's just sharing the message. That's doing good unto those, especially of the household of faith.
And what, babe, and
yes.
You know what you just said, and that's simply sharing yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Authentically,
we are
openly, honestly. Stop with this whole idea of you don't think you have it all together. Just be real. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm done. That was all I wanted to add.
All right, excellent. Christine.
Also, I have the 7 points in the chat.
All right, great. Christine, thank you for your waiting, dear. So who you are, you've already done that. So just talk to us. What value have you got so far? Anything you got?
I've gotten a lot. I want to say thank you to everybody ahead of me that spoke, and to the woman who said she was emotionally challenged and waiting her turn. Me too. And what I did to keep from screaming, I said, just write some notes. So I did. And it's just real simple. Live, love, learn, sacrifice, and share, and serve God, and do the walk like he did, and have faith. I have to believe what I do. I have to do unto others as I would have them do unto me. So I definitely have to make a plan. I got to get out of God's way, because he got the plan. I'm in the way because I'm challenging him, and I don't need to do that. And I have to follow the lead that I'm hearing everybody give me all these great information. And I'm going to learn to listen, because I heard you say listen is a higher form of communication. One of my big downfalls, and I always start off with excuses. So the two things I'm going to come away with is stop making excuses and learn to listen better.
Wow, wow, wow. Hope you guys are taking notes. I hope you're taking notes. She just now blessed me. If I'm always a student. I don't do anything where I'm not in the, and that's why I asked you to give me your statement of value, because you educate me. I miss those things that come out of my mouth because I'm not looking at notes. This is not something where I've got pre-planned. So when you give me your value statement, you enlighten me. You give me the reminders. And what you just did, Christine, is you gave some meat. You gave some substance. And so for those of you out there, I hope that you're paying attention and you're engaged. You're not sitting like a bump on a log. This isn't a rah-rah session. I don't play that. This ain't your church service where you're getting told and taught. I'm expecting you to give me something back to let me know that you're moving. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, you'll learn. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. If I involve you, you'll learn. So thank you very much for what you just now shared. So let's see who, thank you. Okay, let's go with share. One more time. Okay, let me go first with Shirley. Where you at, Shirley? What you got of value so far today?
Oh, I got a lot of value today, Nate. God, it was so good. That's why I was saying at the beginning, it's just good to come on because you would get more than you had the last time. Oh my God, I don't even know what it's like. Deb have really blessed my soul today because, as y'all know, when I try to explain myself, I get fluttered sometimes. But just to listen to Deb say there's some things that she did not understand. And that makes me realize that I'm not alone. That's why it's so important to come and just be a part of it. And just like Nate just finished said, if I involve you, you will remember. If I teach you, you forget it. But I'm involved. I was so involved today at the beginning. I'm learning today. And I just thank God for that. Next, I want to say to, I have a lot of notes. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. I am, Nate, now you know, I am really bad on that. I would text, but he say pick up the phone and call them. And I really gonna do that when this Zoom is over with. I'm gonna pick up the phone. I have about 4 pages of people names. That's what I'm gonna do today. Pick up the phone. Do you have 30 minutes? Let's do this overview right now. You know, and I got that. And secondly is how to think versus what to think. To what's the young lady name? Amina Holman. When she was speaking, that's what I had said at the beginning too about when Nate, we had our coaching section. And our coaching section was Thursday morning after his birthday celebration. And our section was at 9 a.m. No, I did not call him. I mean, I called and it just cut off, and I did not call him back. And I have a tendency of going to what I think is happening to other people. No. I mean, I dropped the ball there. I told my accountability partner, and I said, well, I failed that test today. But the thing is that when I should have called him and stopped giving an explanation on what I think is going on with other people's life. You know, it's like you don't know what's going on. So with that, it's like I should have just. I know what I should have done. I'm not gonna go by what I should have done. You know, I learned from that. Just let me say I learned from that. In the beginning, like I said, it was his birthday, and I don't know, but I know to do better now. I'm gonna, do better there now too. The next thing I got was the wisdom applied knowledge. Of course, I heard that several times, but today it was like, okay, I got it. We're gonna do that. Uh, it's one other thing that I wanted to say. I had what you call them by it. I had so many notes, but Jesus, 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 Jesus. Okay, hold on. Oh, anyway, I guess I can't find it now. Then I want to talk about the Revelation. I enjoyed that, and I went to, like Deb. She says she went to the Bible, and I went to the Bible when he was talking about Revelation. I think it was 11 11th chapter, but anyway, yeah, 11th chapter, the third, beginning at the 3rd to the 13th verse. In Revelation, it has said that, and I will appoint two witnesses. The witness to me is Nate and myself. And there will be prophecy for 1,260 days. I'm gonna stop right there. So I got my calculator out and said, how many is 1,260 days? And that means that it's 2 years, almost close to 3 years. 3 years. And I've been into this community since 2018. So that's my 2 years. So the third year, this is 2020, 2021 would be my third year. So I thought that was interesting to me, because now, since I had 2 years behind me, I'm really, really, really getting this. I have been getting this now for the mid of last year. So that spoke volume to me too. So, but I got a lot out of this today, and I one thing that I have gotten too, another thing that I have gotten rather too, is that don't try to figure out the problem. If you ask a question, let's say a question is asked, don't try to give an explanation. Just say yes or no, and that's it. Because I did that too this week in my coaching. The lady was going to do an overview. He says, "Okay, Shirley, what you do? How it look?" And I told him, the first thing came out of my mouth, well, I had an overview, but the lady had a migraine. He said, "Shirley, why are you telling me that?" So I have learned, and I'm learning yes, no, and that's it. Back to you, Nate.
All right. Thank you very much for that input. And let's see who else we have. Michelle Tolliver. Michelle Tolliver, welcome. I understand that you are a guest, which means that you're not a part of our Life is Rich family, but I want to go ahead and see whether or not you have gotten value from today, so that in turn, and if you have any specific questions as it relates to who we are as a Life is Rich community. Do you have, who are you, where are you from? Why did you get on here today? And what value have you gotten? What value have you gotten from who we are? You're on mute. Michelle? All right, moving on. One more chance. Okay. Robin Bigsby, welcome. Who are you? Where are you from? What value have you gotten today? Okay, moving on. Val, coming back to you. What value have you gotten today?
Ooh, okay, see, y'all done it again. I'm over here. I'm going from being fed to being tearful, from being fed to being tearful. The value that I've gotten this time around that's really speaks volume, and it's almost like a oh wow, it's indescribable. But wisdom is knowledge. That's the key ingredient as an overall. you know, I've always, always, always been a leader, and I believe it's a result of being forced to lead throughout my formative years. And we all, but particularly myself, have had my own challenges. You know, I used to save lives for a living. As a result, from a drunk drive, I lost my career. But God was using me at that time to risk my life to save someone else's. But he knew I needed to be moved. Now, during my career, I was a bad baby because, you know, I felt I was going to do things the way I need to be doing. But in during that time, when he moved me, I prayed about it, and I said, Lord, you know, what am I going to do with the money? You know, what am I going to do? And, you know, he put things in place. You know, I'm on this so-called fixed income, and I know I'm blessed by it indirectly, because here it is, per se, 2 businesses. Okay, someone asked me, well, what are you going to do about, you know, your fixed income? What are you going to do? You know, I said, I'm going to move out of that, because it's almost like being held captive. Unlike the rest of the world, here we are, we have a pandemic. People are trying to figure out how they're going to eat, how they're going to do this, how they're going to do that. But knowing that I'm moving to bigger and better things, it puts me in a position of leadership, and it allows me to be in control of my own, I guess you could say, destiny. So the wisdom and the applied knowledge concept said to me, look, God has allowed me to be put in a position of being connected to not only Andrea Scott. That day I reached out to her, but a whole community of like-minded individuals. You know, I've always been analytical. That was my career. I've always wanted to know more and be more and strive for more. And here it is, God showing himself again. He's saying, I've got you. All you have to do is believe me. It took me back to Matthew 13:31, where he's talking about the mustard seed. You know, he says to have faith as a mustard seed, but in 13:31, he says, where Jesus Christ teaches that the mustard seed is the least of all seeds, you know, but when it is planted, it becomes the greatest of herbs and becomes a tree, so that the birds in the air can lodge on it. Well, I've always been the youngest on both sides of well, let me take that back. I have a cousin who came 15 years later, but for the most part, I was the youngest and the only girl on both sides of my family. I came like 9-10 years later, spoiled rotten, but I've always been in that position to lead. But at the same token, because I was the youngest, my voice was not really heard, you know. So here we are, I'm in a position to change lives yet again and be a leader within my own right. And I mean, it's just so much. I will ramble on, but for the most part, that's my takeaway. You know, the wisdom is applied knowledge. You know, you really, really have to take that for more than just cliche. So
All right.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Nate Scott, and thank you, Life is Rich community, because we're all feeding off of each other. And I love y'all.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Mom, where you at? If you would, share with us, what did you get of value? What have you gotten of value from us today thus far? Just take it off of mute. And then after Mom, coming back to you, Michelle. Let me see. Let's see. All right, Mom, you're free. Thought you were. One more time. I'm going to help. Okay, Michelle Tolliver. Okay. Who's that? Mom, you're free. Mom, that's you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. There was a couple of things that I got of value and take away. One is that God raise up leaders to correct and direct. And what I get from that is that if you have a gift and you are shrinking back in your gift, or not using your gift to your ability, then you're really not doing the will of God. We have to share, because there's so many people out there that needs what we have. They need direction, they need guidance, and that's where we come in. So that I got. And the next thing is, hope in the future give you promise for the present. And I sometimes I look, especially with what's going on today, I said, you know what, in everything, every circumstances, you have to find a way to get glory out of it. Because with this virus, I know it teach me a lot, not to humble, because I have always, I'm not patting myself on the back. I have always tried to be humble, and not forget where I'm coming from and where the Lord has brought me to. So, it teach me to be more aware of my circumstances, my finances, because I am one of those that will spend what I don't have. I spend it before I see it. I have it now, I spend it. I'm not worrying about tomorrow. And this taught me to hold more of my money, because if I have more, I can do more. Because there are so many people out there wondering, how am I going to put food on the table when God has blessed me to be able to pay my bills and, just have enough. So, I am grateful. My faith, I just believe, not think. I believe that if I didn't have faith in God's word, I would be just like, really, what's going on? And, start getting emotional and start to worry and what have. And so I believe in that. And another thing is, I got value of today is, listening is the highest form of communication. And that's one of the things that I have learned now. During this time, as I said before, it gives me a lot of time to put things into perspective, to really connect more with the Lord, get closer to my family, and even outreach the friends and acquaintance that I haven't seen in a long time. So, I learn now to listen more. And that's why a lot of the time I'm on the call, I don't say anything. I'm taking a lot from it. I'm getting a lot out of it, but I'm not one to say, I believe if I listen, I learn more. So I've gotten quite a few takeaway this morning on value from the call.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mom. Appreciate you. We love you. All right, let's go with, who do we have? Michelle Tolliver, are you, let me see. Are you there, Michelle Tolliver? All right, I'm gonna put you on mute. Okay, very good. Andrew, I think I touched everyone. We've, Sherilyn, Sherilyn, back to you, dear. If you're off from mute right now, what value have you gotten from this morning? Real talk.
Well, by listening to everybody and rounding everything up, I learned that all this invaluable information the Lord has instructed and entrusted us with, these promises that you have relayed to us and everything that you instilled in us, and that we are worthy and we're valuable to be these faithful vessels to carry out these promises and carry out this knowledge and carry out this information. And the word that stands out, faithful vessel. Everything that we're learning right now, that you continue to speak over and over again about listening and do it daily, is being faithful, being accountable, being effective in what we do, and not make excuses. And so my takeaway today is continue to wake up. I'm sorry, the kids and woke up. Is to continue to be faithful and continue to grow. Don't stop growing. Don't stop listening. Don't stop hearing. But to continue to press forward. And everything we put our hands to, everything that we do, just know and trust that that anointing that has already been placed on us to come together and unify together in one mind, like body, and one spirit, everything that we do, that it is going to prosper. It is going to be successful. One thing you said, I want to go back to that real quick, that confirms that, is that, I'll get my notes back here. They and their calls were succeeded, will succeed, automatically succeed. So if we keep that in mind, that everything we do, eventually we will succeed. And the cause would not go defeated. It would not go undone. It would not go where it just, the ball drops. That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to drop the ball. We come too far to drop the ball. But just continue to move forward and believe in what we're doing. And we will see our faith go higher and higher every day, every day. That's me. That's what I look at. It's going to feel like a burden sometimes, but that's what everything Christ carried was, a burden. But what was about the burden that kept him going was that it was a cause that he was, and purpose that he was here for. And he didn't stop. Even on the cross, he didn't stop. And so right now, just let us carry our cross and be excited about where we're going and what we're doing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Sherilyn. All right. Andrea, you got what did you get away from today? What's your takeaway from today? And I will let me know when you pass it back over.
Wonderful.
If I missed anybody too. So
okay. So many nuggets. One thing that I got early on was explanations are the precursors to an excuse. And God said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. And that was very powerful to me, because as leaders, up and coming leaders, whomever is in leadership, you talked about who's giving you, who are you taking advice from, or who is leading you, and that type of thing. And, their motive, and all of those things criteria that you list, who, what, when, why, and where. Who are they? What are they saying? How are they saying it? And, why are they saying it? And all that kind of stuff. Whether it's your boss, your pastor, your, the head of your corporation or your organization, whoever is in leadership, because and for me, keeping it personal, just knowing that, like you shared at West Point, and you guys, seriously, if you have Netflix, I know I'm digressing for a minute. If you have Netflix, I want you guys to watch, I don't even know what it's called. We'll put it in the chat. But Nate, what is it called? I fell asleep and I woke up, and it's this documentary on the government or whatever in America, and then they do this whole episode on West Point, and that just really, just watching that helps you to understand, Nate's background and kind of the reality of who he is, and and how West Point added to who God already created him to be. And because remember, he went to West Point after he was already enlisted, and so and after everything that he did and who he was growing up. And so, but it's just very interesting. But one of the things about the creed in West Point is that Nate always says that they had 3 answers that were acceptable to their commander or whoever, drill sergeant, instructor, I don't know what the titles are, but yes, sir.
4 responses.
4 responses. 4 responses. Yes, sir. No, sir. I do not understand, sir. And what's the other one? I didn't do it? Give it to us.
No excuse.
Oh, no excuse, sir. That was it. So yes, sir. No, sir. I do not understand, sir. And no excuse, sir.
And that's the most important.
And that's the most important. And so when you said explanations are the precursor to excuses, and that was, and Alima, thank you for that, because, and Kim Brown echoed it. That is, we are, have been programmed to create an excuse to make us feel better about the stuff that's lacking within us. Instead of stepping up, I had a conversation with someone who decided to quit something because they just, it's a whole, my conversation with this individual was, instead of just getting better, you can choose to get better or you can choose to quit. Either way, it's your choice. But the excuses is all about just saying what's real and what's honest and what's true. I don't want to do it. I do want to do it, but I need coaching to get better at it. I don't have an excuse, or I just don't understand it. And so, but the explanations, that was a thing really, I mean, so many things stuck out with me, but that really was one of the things that was, I was like, whoa, that kind of hit me in the face, because that's something that that I think we all deal with. And I know for myself that I've got to learn not to do that, and also give fillers, like kind of like what Shirley said, always feel like I have to fill dead space, and that being an active listener. And sometimes that's very difficult for me. So those are my areas of growth that I work on. So thank you. Over to you.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so hardly any more questions. Hardly any questions. You know, we can, I will tell you that I'm never tired of engaging with you guys like this. This is fun time. So and if it's longer than you have been accustomed to sitting and being, well, praise God for it. That means you're being fed. And the thing is that I don't have any shortage of being able to hone in on those things that you might bring up. And that's, again, I want you to experience this real-time coaching. I want you to see what Andrea paid $4,500 back 5 years ago, just so you know that price is what you pay, value is what you get. And so we're inviting people to connect with us. We're not talking about no shopping club. We're not trying to get you into no shopping club. Shopping club is a tool for me. Why? Because I said, I've got things that are in this book right here that I need to get you to know how to apply. Chapter 1 is leadership is the answer. And it's framed with 1 Peter 5:2-4. It says, be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, serving as overseers, not because you must, but because you're willing, as God wants you to be, not greedy for money, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. This here is all about leadership. And when it comes to finances, it's 80% behavior, 20% know-how. So when I said, if I get you shopping online, that means you're looking at your expenses. If I get you looking at your expenses, that means you're able to track your expenses, and tracking is the first step to creating a zero-based budget. Well, that then speaks to why I give you guys access to Life is Rich Presents Financial Peace University. Because I want to help you to create a plan to be debt-free and financial free. Because if I give you that plan, and then I walk you through by holding your hand to help you to see that it's possible, well, then more than likely you're going to be more open with that which you now have, and you're not going to hold on so tight, and you're going to be willing to sow into other people, and you're going to be able to walk this $10 million endowment fund out. That's the whole shebang. So I did. Yes,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
This
Go
is
ahead.
Christine.
Yes.
Personal question. I don't want nobody to be offended. I go to church and I give tithes. And what you just said, I'm already thinking ahead to tomorrow. If in the church, because of the COVID, is always asking for additional funding, I want to be able to do that and not feel guilty. I can do that, right? Like,
Guilt is
I know
not
it's a personal
guilt.
question, but I just want to throw it out there to get some feedback.
I welcome it. I welcome it because I will tell you honestly that I haven't been a career tither. I'm not someone that beats a wood. I'm not someone that walks around feeling guilty about tithing or not tithing. I don't talk to you about why you got to tithe and how the word. I don't do that. What I would tell you is this: is that you shouldn't be guilted into tithing.
No, I do it freely, but it's just that because the budget is now an issue, I didn't think about it until now.
I understand. Understand. And we're gonna really, yeah. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to do that which you believe. Okay. I want you to recognize that God would not have allowed you to get connected to me and for me to really talk sternly to you about you owning a business and the surface stuff that you try to give me on our first call, and me basically call you out on and say, hey, listen, your best thinking has gotten you where you're at, and I'm here to help you, and I can look at what you have in your grasp and tell you that you're sitting on gold. I know that you have far more than what you don't know what you have, and you're sitting on something that can double, triple, and quadruple your income. Because the greatest asset you have is all those years of experience. The greatest asset you have is in the relationships you've established because people have entrusted you to keep their children. And so you're holding on to that because you're now in a situation where your cash flow is restricted in accordance to your best thinking. Right now, in this moment, right now, right here, I'm saying that if you will trust God with that which you already have, that he's got more for you. And I can only say that in this moment because I'm only speaking right now because I'm being led by the Spirit. Because I said from the first part of it, that is, I'm not someone that talks about tithing as a single chapter within the Bible, because I hate that. I hate people that can hone in and talk about what they do, and then they talk about you as if you got the issue with your not tithing. That's a matter of your particular, where you're at in your relationship. You got to grow to wherever you're at. So to that end, I want you to be encouraged in knowing that there's a practical application of God's word in the act of tithing. That there is a practical application of God's word in the spirit of giving. I think that you should have, you should be wise in your planning of the resources that you do have, and that when you're writing out your budget, you should write out that line item of tithing if that's a part of your faith walk. If you believe that that is something that is there, then I'll say then you should continue to do it. But you should also not do it in a singular focus. You should do it. You should be actively growing and knowing that he's given you the opportunity to create wealth. And all you've got to now do is apply yourself. Apply your time, your talent, and your treasure. And you're more than just your tithe, your financial piece. I will tell you that if, but don't let fear be the thing that's driving you. That's the thing, and my biggest thing for you. Don't let fear of what you're going to run out and then hold that back. And then also look at whether or not you can see how those tithes are being used as well. Don't be afraid of being able to hold the standard. And then also then make sure that you're proactive in your relationship with that body in which you're worshiping with. So there's a lot that I can unpack with that, but just know that God's word is true through and through. But when you go through that step one of lesson one with that written budget, you can account for your dollars and cents and recognize that you are the steward, beginning with yourself, that it all belongs to God. And because of that, you don't have to have a fear, but be wise, because they'll let me go to chapter 2, and let me leave you with this. Thank you, Lord. Chapter 2 says, what is the cash flow danger? John 10, 6-11 is what I frame it with. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Jesus unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. We must learn to recognize the dangers that prevent us from having the life we desire. I've chosen John 10, 6-11 to show the distinction between good and bad. For the believer, we are promised the opportunity to have an abundant life. Unfortunately, most people do not know how to recognize an opportunity. As a servant-driven leader, I am called to teach people how to think versus what to think. Pray upon what you've asked, and make sure that you pray and truly are listening for God's answer, and not praying trying to get an answer that is just confirming what you want. And Lord Jesus, thank you for the Holy Spirit. I just now had the picture in mind about Jesus being asked about taxation, and whether or not the people should pay their taxes. You remember that? They tried to paint him in a situation where they wanted to find out what answer would he give. And he told them to take out the money and whose picture was on it. Wow. How to think versus what to think. The God's word is everything is in there. So just grow, pray upon it, and do what, you know what your gut is, you know what your heart says, and you know whether or not if you've been served in the place in which you have been worshiping. And it's kind of like me having you guys here. I want to find out what value I'm giving. If I ever would have been called to the pulpit, you just don't know. That type of church service will be here. It'll be changing up all that is right now. Boy, Lord knows he put me in the pulpit. It'll be a different type of experience. Because I'd be like, okay, what'd you get today? Hold on tight. If you ain't got nothing of value, then hold on tight. But if you got some value, I better not ever have to ask you about tithing. Because he's used me to give to you. Now, if you go do the work that I'm putting, if you go and apply God's word like I'm laying it out for you, then you ain't going to have no issue. You're going to have overflow.
Amen.
All right, dear. I'm married to a former first lady. I done told her we got a church.
No, we ain't.
All right. Yeah, we're good, Christine. We're good.
I'm good. Like I'm there. Like I got it all figured out because of what you said. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Anyone else?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Nate. So I just had to jump back in because I just was seeing the value I got from your response. It freed me up because when you said you feel like you we won't feel like we gotta fill in space, or we gotta have an answer for anything, or say, oh, I got value. Well, I didn't in the beginning. I did get something from what other people were saying, but I got a lot of value from the whole thing afterwards. So I'm kind of glad that the Lord has in me where I wasn't offended by what, your response to me. So I just thank you all guys for that. And as you heard, the next person after me said the same thing. Like I would have said the same thing. Like, well, I just don't do them, but so I just thank you for all that.
You blessed me with that answer. I thank you for coming back on and say that, because again, that's why everybody's got to play full out. You don't know what your response means to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
And I want to say, I just have to say, like I always say, this is a safe place. This is where you get understanding and explanation, and to make you live better for God himself and no one else. Amen.
Okay, Shirley was a little quick to jump in, but I had to jump on because like now I feel like if Alima's on the call, I got to always follow her. Thanks, Alima. But really, again, I appreciate you being the sacrificial lamb in which, Nate offered that response. And again, just understanding that the place in which Nate responds to us, it's coming from the heart. It's just coming from just giving us the information, not to embarrass us, not to make us feel bad, but to, where we may have had a particular mindset or think like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to give this answer. Like, no, get out of your head, get out of your own way. Don't be trapped into that thinking. And, I was like, again, I was thankful of that whole experience because, I have to raise my hand in full transparency. That was going to be my response. And so I'm, again, although, Alima, we both jumped on when we did, like, my God, I'm thinking where we jumped on, and then that point going forward, everything that was shared and everything, I'm like, well, dag, I got to go back and listen to the beginning of the call because, just so much, just so much. So again, thank you.
Okay, so I got to jump on, Anna. And so, Alima, thank you for not being offended.
Yes.
Okay. There's something about Nate Scott that is like a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he was coaching me, it's kind of like, okay, so he sent the snippet for those of us who are on Telegram of the Karate Kid. And my mother will tell you that my brother and I, we were always like karate crazy. Like we have every Bruce Lee the VHS. We have the Chinese outfits with the Chinese slippers, and we would just jump around and, like we were like, we literally would go to the movies when it was 50 cents. And we would go see every Chinese, even right now on Netflix, we're watching the Iron Fist, and I don't care if it's subtitled, I don't care if their mouth ain't moving right, I don't care nothing about that. I love martial arts movies. One of the things that you'll notice if you watch that is the discipline of martial arts is very cerebral. It's not about hurting people, it's not about even self-defense, it's about mindset, control, focus, and all of those types of things. It's about respect. If you look at the sensei or the teacher, the master who is teaching the class, they are so, they're beating these folk up crazy. Like, they're not even trying to spare them. They're like busting them in the head. They're flinging them against the wall. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching them, but it looks painful to me. And the way that even in the Karate Kid, the way that Mr. Miyagi talked to the little boy, he was a boy. He was like, it was that type of thing. But you know that my master, my teacher, my sensei cares about my growth and my development. And at the end of the day, when his job with me is done, I got to be able to stand on my own so that I could be somebody else's sensei, teacher, master, or you know, leader or whatever. And so that's the deal, you guys. People that know that they have limited time to do what God has told them to do. And that's just the thing, you know, most people live like tomorrow is promised. Most people live like, oh, I'll just do it next week or next month. Nate doesn't live his life like that. He lives his life like right now is the most important time that I have. Don't waste it, because I'm not going to waste yours. We're going to be focused. We're going to be intense, and we're going to use this time like it is the last moment we have. And he lives like that every day. And so his intensity is such that a lot of people could be offended or taken aback, or, you know, in his immediacy to have you make that correction. Because a lot of times what do people say? Well, I'm working on it. I'm working on me. What? How long is this going to take? Like, just stop doing that and do this. You know, I mean, be intentional about it. But what happens is we try to drag it on because we really don't want to make the change, because change is difficult. Change sometimes means leaving other people behind. Change means now I can no longer use that as an excuse. Change means eating crow. Change means pride is destroyed and demolished, and all of those yokes that we have on our own selves. And that's the thing. So he's almost a two-edged sword, where you know he loves you, so you take it, you suck it up, and you're like, okay, because I know on the other edge of that sword, though it may cut sharp, the other side is butter. Is a butter knife. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to, you know, and I know that at the end of the day that I'm going to be all right. And so, Nate, thank you. Thank you for being a two-edged sword. Thank you for being a knife and a butter knife and an axe. But anyway, so Alima,
Awesome.
my whole point was thank you for not being offended. Kim Brown, you as well, Shirley, all of you guys, and loving yourself enough to let him lead you. So there you go. I'm done, babe.
Awesome. Sherilyn, I see you. You take yourself off of mute. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm taking you off of mute, Sherilyn.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. While you all were talking, and when he first started talking, and Christine came in, and everybody came in afterwards, the Lord gave me a revelation. We talk about, Nate always said, be intentional. And the Lord showed me that he is intentional and he is timely. And he gave me Psalms 23rd. I've never seen it like this before. He said, I am, the Lord is your shepherd. He talked to me like this. I am your shepherd, and you shall not want. And he broke it down, and he said, a shepherd is one that leads, the one that guides. And in the Bible during that time, it was like leading the sheep to a place every time one area was dangerous or it was depleted of them no longer able to graze on it. He would always go out and find them a better place to graze. And he said, I am your shepherd in this time. The information that you're gaining and the people that you're connected to, he said, I'm leading you to a place whereas you're not going to go without. One thing about a shepherd is make sure that their sheep is always fed, never go hungry, never go thirsty. And that's the way that Christ was. And the Most High said, in this time, it's not by accident that I got to the Nate and the time that I did. It's because of the time that we were going into, and you had prayed about a thing, and I gave your answer to level up. So in this season, he said, everything I'm feeding you, the next scripture says, yea, do you walk through the valley, the shadow of death. So everything that we're learning with Life is Rich and learning and have been studying at Financial Peace University, everything comes together, and it is working that all of this that's going on, we're not affected. I can literally say I have not been affected. Yea, do you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Everything right now has been like a shadow to me, and I have not feared because that which I've been taught has kept me. It has literally kept me, and he's shown me I was intentional to bring him at this time so that you would not be affected. You always speak that 1,000 be on your left, 10,000 may be on your right, but it shall not come nigh your dwelling. And so all of those scriptures and principles that I have been stating all my life has resonated within my spirit, is that God does not, he's intentional. He does not do things just to be doing things. He does intentional things. So now I see why it's so prevalent that that saying, they say be intentional, because Christ is he was intentional in everything that he purposed to do and was purposed to do. He was intentional, and he made sure that it got done. So guess what? I got the revelation that right now, because we are connected, it has been intentional and has been ordained that where we are, what we're doing, that we are to walk by faith and not by sight. We are to believe and not doubt. And we are to be confident in who we are and be the asset that we need to be for those that we've been sent to. So everything is making sense, even in a greater way. The more you all talking, the more everybody getting revelation and understanding, the greater and broader the community is going to get. It's because everybody going to come in getting that as we speak and as we talk. They're going to get fed, and they're going to understand it by and by as they continue. And by, if they don't give up, they're going to really see the success that has already been purposed and promised to us in the end. That's all I want to share.
All right. So now let me go ahead and tag on to that. Let me show you how God, once again, the true revelation. If you go to chapter 3 of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, it's all written, y'all. It's all written. It's all written. We just miss out. I see you, Deb. So chapter 3, I'm just going to the table of contents. I ain't even going to go nowhere. I'm going to the table of contents. And let me show you what it says. It happened to me. Chapter 3, it happened to me. Psalm 23, 1-6, Holy Spirit. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now let me go over to page 32. 32. It's important for me to know who you're following. It's important to let you know that all things that God has laid out in his written word, he's armed me, he created me, he's given me capacity so that I can give you the confidence to stand firmly on his word. Lest you think my life has been nothing but roses, I will also tell you that every deal I've done has not been successful. I've lost more than $250,000 on one deal in 1 year, and all I had to show for it was a judgment. My total debt has been over $4 million, and all the creditors were calling as if they had my number on speed dial. I've seen my credit score drop from 720 to below 600 in less than 45 days. I've been unemployed or underemployed for more than 3 years at one time and on the verge of filing bankruptcy. Yes, life happens. So when you find yourself on uneven ground, you have to accept responsibility, assume a defensive position while stabilizing, keep your head up and persevere. It was probably the lowest point in my life. How could I be a successful businessman and be broke financially and personally? My life was out of balance. My marriage was ending. And for the first time since walking for a minute in the desert, I was unsure if I was going to make it out alive. How could this have happened to me? I was too smart and too educated and too good at what I did to be nearly bankrupt financially and personally. I had become a millionaire and now it was gone. I was feeling like an utter failure. All of this hits close to home. There's a feeling of embarrassment and sometimes you feel like a failure. That's hard. Fortunately, I was able to make it because of my faith, my mindset, and help from my family and a couple of friends. I had a safety net, but many people do not have a safety net. Here's how I came through my storm. See, instruction. Here's how I came through my storm. I took off for a 7-day retreat. Coronavirus is a 7-day retreat for many of you. It's a retreat right now. I figured that something was really wrong with me in the way I was living my life. I've become obsessed with making money and doing deals. I was obsessed with working my job. I was obsessed with
going from this to that. I had come to the erroneous thought that my self-worth was dictated by my net worth. I was not a great dad and I was a horrible husband. I needed to rebuild my life and start again. The way I describe this time is that it was like playing a basketball game. As I was running off the court at halftime to go to the locker room, I glanced up at the score and I was losing in the second quarter of my life and nearing halftime. So during my halftime, the question was not, am I going to win this game? The only question was, how am I going to play the second half? After my halftime retreat, which included intense Bible reading, I also read Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Eckhart's Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, and Gitomer's little black book of connections. I worked out daily and I included daily meditation. What are you doing during this coronavirus break right now? What are you doing right now to make sure that you come out of this particular halftime better situated? Since the day my personal mission and my objectives have been clearly defined, I had already learned the skills of making money. Recreating it in my life was relatively easy since I know what to do and how to do it. I have always been interested in teaching, but I always thought that teaching could not afford me the financial rewards I desired. Following a speaking engagement in 2010, I was followed into the hallway by about 25 people from the audience who wanted to know if I did other seminars or had other speaking engagements. 2010 people, to 2010, you are not my first rodeo. You're not my first rodeo. I said yes, and I'm actively doing research to find exactly what people want to learn today. So I asked them what they wanted and what it would look like if they could have anything they wanted. This is a very important lesson. I believe that to make $1 million or $1 billion or to have a great relationship, you only have to do 3 things. 3 things. 3 things. Number 1, find out what they want. What do you want? What do you want to have out of this morning? Why are you on this real talk? Why do you think I'm asking you that question? Because I got to know what you want. I done been through this. I done did this thing. And now I'm doing it real time. That's why I said I want to give you allowed to kick the tires. Don't you come back here the next time and you're not already a member. I will see your name and I will not let you in. I'll cut you off. In fact, normally, if I'm not able to take you off of mute and I don't know that you're here and you're not an imposter, normally I don't leave you on here. Like Michelle Tolliver, I haven't heard your voice. I haven't gotten you off. You haven't been engaging with me. I don't know what you have gotten of value. See, normally I don't allow this even to take place. Normally I'm like, this person's out. But the Holy Spirit let me today just let me to focus in, just like I let people listen on Facebook a full session. I normally don't give away it. Find out what they want because I want to serve you so that you know that you got value. So if anybody's got communication with Michelle Tolliver and she's able to listen, I have to know that she's able to hear because she's been on here the whole time, nearly 3 hours. If that's your guest, then you need to let me know. I need you to figure out. Maybe you need to call her on the phone and let her voice be on speaker. Whatever it is, I need to have her voice. Number 2, go and get it. Number 2, go get it. And then number 3, give it to them. That's the process. Every financially successful person or company you can think of has followed this simple 3-part formula, which is exactly what I did with these students. I asked them what they wanted and what it looked like. This book is a blueprint to help people in going through or coming out of an unexpected life transition. My desire is very simple. It is always to give you more value than what you actually invest. It's my belief that you should be able to give your time, your talent, and your treasure if you're a believer. I'm not making an assumption that everyone who experiences me by way of any format is a believer. If you're not, I hope that you get a good feel for me and gain a little bit of better perspective of why I do what I do. I hope you get an opportunity to actually engage with me on a one-to-one basis and maybe, just maybe, feel comfortable enough to ask questions as it relates to my beliefs, my faith, and why I serve in the manner in which I serve. That's very important to me because at 19, when I walked the perimeter during Desert Storm, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. There's something about being in a life and death situation that puts things into perspective. I've always let people know from whence cometh my help. I'm referring to Psalm 121. I have to let people know that because it's a commitment for me, it allows me to never get too haughty. Some of you guys have heard me when I've talked about not forgetting where you came from. Sometimes people get this kind of amnesia. It's as though they forget about what God has actually done for them. Well, I can't do that. So no matter what goes on in my life and what things are lost, whatever is gained, I'm still like this. I am even keeled because I pray. I'm not defined by things that are happening, those external factors, because it's an inside out job. Foundationally speaking, everything we go through today is going to be about the inside out work. That's why people are quick to ask, what do you do? What do you do? Doing and then switching to doing something else and trying to catch the next great wave. Do something else, trying to get to somewhere else, right? And ends up going through a cycle of turbulence, not knowing really what and jumping from this to that. Be, do, have, be, do, have, be, do, have. Be first, because we're human beings, not human doings. We're human beings. We are creators. So being is first and foremost. When you can truly understand and embrace who you are, you're steady, and your entire life's purpose is all about self-fulfillment. Then from there, because you're a human being, what happens is then you are able to actually ask for direction so that you can fulfill the purpose you've been wonderfully designed for. Does that make sense? If you don't understand it first, you've got to be, then you'll be defined by your circumstances. You start getting things such as a big home, a foreign car, jewelry from Tiffany's, a country club membership, and then you're defined. Now you're successful because everybody sees you as successful. They start calling you national. You start driving a pink Cadillac. They start walking around carrying your bags. You start then walking with a different, but then what happens is they start to cut you out. And then what happens? Things change up and you start to wonder. Everybody sees you as successful. They can actually put a label on you as being successful. They can just as easily say you're unsuccessful, right? That's the part I want you to reflect on. What I want to let you know is that although you are reading this book, I want you to experience it. In order to do that, you must participate. Although you're on this Zoom and you're listening, you must participate. You got to experience. Are you ready to get started? Oh, praise God. So thank you for the handoff, Cheryl. And there you go. It's in the book. Open up the book. Open up the book. I see you off. I heard you, I think, Michelle. I heard somebody trying to get in. Was that Michelle?
Yeah.
Take yourself off of mute. Okay, let me help. Okay, okay. I can't hear you.
Nate?
Yes.
Hey, I'm on the phone with Michelle.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want. Then say, let's go. Go ahead, Val.
Okay, she says she's trying to connect, but
no problem. Put it on speaker. Put it on speaker.
Okay, hold on. All right, Michelle.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I can hear you, Michelle. Welcome. Who are you? Where you're from? And what value did you get from today?
I am.
Okay. I tell you what. Let me hold on. Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second. Val.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, Val.
Uh-huh.
I need you to give her the dial-in phone number. Okay. So hold 1 second. Tell her to text Zoom. Text Zoom to our number so that she can get the instructions to dial in.
Okay, text Zoom to the tool.
Get off. Yep. Get off of Zoom. Just hang up off of Zoom.
Okay, hold on.
Not you, Val. Tell her to hang up off of Zoom, or her.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about her being on Zoom.
Okay, Michelle, you heard Nate? Okay, there she goes. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll look for her to come back in.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I just now shared a lot. Anyone who would you walk away? We just had a little bit of a session just now. What'd you get? Anyone took any major notes? Let me see who's in the chat box. And then we're gonna walk away. But we got a lot of good stuff. So thank you for that handoff, Sherilyn. And again, hopefully what I just gave you guys are encouragement for you to get that book open up. And
So
God
Nate,
forbid.
I just want to share. So this is our last Real Talk session. And so going into May, there are 5 Saturdays in May. I think we ought to do a book club for May for our Zooms in May, and we ought to go through Life is Rich, chapter by chapter. Yeah, right, Deb? I mean, honestly, I think there's so much meat in that book. And if we did a book club and just invited our friends to get the book and read the book, and then we can go over it from chapter to chapter and actually have the author on taking us through your thought process, your real life. I think it's 2 thumbs up. Deb's with me. Anybody else with me?
I am.
Shirley's with me.
This is
Kim's
Kim.
with me. Okay.
Except 4 Saturdays. What is it? The 16th. We're not available.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Thank you. Val's with me. Val's got a thumbs up. Yep. You're right. So the 2nd, 9th, 23rd, and 24th, we can do a couple chapters. And there's so much meat in here. Becoming an entrepreneur, protecting your financial entity, all of it. Your story of it happened to me. Asset protection, planning your estate. I mean, there's so much meat in here for so many different people in different stages of their life. Reducing your taxes, all of these things, residual income planning, and everything. I think there's so many nuggets in here for so many different people, our older generation. The importance of having a will, the importance of protecting your, folks don't know that if you don't have a will, all your stuff goes to the state. You know what I'm saying? And, look at Aretha Franklin, unfortunately. So, Alima said, I'm with the book club. Yay, Alima. Okay. And so that just was a thought that came to me. I think that would be awesome. And we invite everybody, but say you got to get the book. So anyway, that's what I wanted to add. I think that should be our May.
Outstanding. Yep. And just so you know, again, this is what that is. And just know that those of you that are in the course, you have the videos. That's the videos. So absolutely, it's already there. So yes, we're gonna do that, but you guys got to make sure we flood this thing. We got to make sure that now you got all these sessions of Real Talk. Go out and get the message out. There's no question. There's no reason why we don't have this thing with hundreds of people on right now. There's no reason right now we don't push each and every one of you to senior director by the end of July. If you do this, if you bring people to us and what we've got, there's no question. Just bring them to the source. Let's come bring them to you and bring yourself and share your story, your authentic story, your truthful story. And start opening up your material. Again, start treating it like you actually appreciate the value. No, go back to the word. You go back to my book, and I was talking to you about the first scripture that I have in the book. Matthew 13, 44 through 46. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, this is the dedication. When a man found it, he had hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had bought. Everything he had and bought it. Praise God. One second. All right, can you hear us? Jill?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. You're on speaker right now, and we'll figure your situation out. But I want to welcome you. Appreciate you. I hope you've got yourself full. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Why were you here? And what value have you gotten?
Okay, I'm Michelle Oliver. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I was invited by Val Hilton. And as I was on the call yesterday and today, what I've actually got the call itself is to shift my mindset and just to I just want to be able to, like I told Ms. Andrea earlier, that I wanted to have another stream of income, and so just getting a better understanding of it, and want to be around great people.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And I hope that I hope that what you've gained here today is that this ain't no talk about no stream of income. I want you to understand that if that's what you're coming in for, that's not this.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't one of those deals that you've been a part of or something you've gotten in. And no. That's not who we are. You can do that through anybody. You can go join somebody and get into a deal, and we encourage you to do that. But we have a higher purpose. And then because we have a higher purpose, we have a standard and we have a qualification. And that's why we say alignment before assignment. And so what the challenge, what the thing is, because I know I've heard your voice before and I've talked to you personally, and I know that you've been on. And like I said, this because of we know who we are, what we are. It's like you got to know real quick the place in which you're sitting in. This is not a go along, get along gang, and Andrea and I are not the everyday peeps. We have something very special because we've proven ourselves. You know, my wife is being someone that has 26 years of documented experience in a space and time where many people spend their entire life trying to get to somewhere and never do so. And then for her to serve 16 years at the very top, leading women, anyone that's not clamoring to try to get next to her is crazy. Anyone that has access, even through 6 levels of access, is crazy to not be tapping in, especially in this season right here when we're giving away who we are. And so that by itself is to be honored and respected. So we're not out here having people kick tires and try to figure out if we are qualified. And same thing with this recommendation for this company in which I've chosen for us to connect through because of it being something that fits independent of an opportunity. Well, the thing is, it's the first company in 24 years I finally said, okay, this is safe because it's a legitimate opportunity that's not predicated on getting people manipulated and never reaching their goals. But we don't talk about that because it's not that. It's a tool. We don't care about people getting in and quote unquote joining teams. That's not that. What we do is we want to help you to make smart decisions with your money and your health. It only makes sense to be able to save money, save time, and get better quality products. It only makes sense once you know better to do better. And we expect smart people to be able to say that there's no smart reason whatsoever to knowingly use poisonous products when there's safe, effective, and affordable products available. Anything that's against that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense to us for anyone to not share that information with other people the way that we share it, because we don't share it with an agenda. We don't have a spirit of trying to get people because we're trying to get on top of them. That's why Life is Rich, the book, speaks about the cash flow danger and to talk about the thief coming to do certain things. And so my hope for you, because you have seen and heard several times, and because obviously Val cared enough about you to reach out to you personally, to extend an invitation and do it on multiple occasions, today, don't leave here with your questions unanswered. And my expectation is that you're okay with letting her know whether or not it's a fit or not. And when I say it, I'm talking about us. And that's what I mean by alignment before assignment. We all try the spirit by the spirit. We don't chase, we don't beg, because we know who we are and we know whose we are. Does that make sense? Okay. And so you have the open floor. What questions may I answer for you specifically that can be a blessing for you in your specific situation? Because you did say that you're seeking another income stream. How may I be of service to you?
You can. As I stated earlier, when I got on, I said I wanted to get on to hear, because Val said this lady is somebody that I need to know. And as I stated earlier, I wanted to actually, like I said, be among great people and just learn. And as I stated earlier about changing my mindset, a lot of things that I have to change within being in this organization, that's going to help me to see things differently and look at things in a different perspective. So that's what I stated earlier, and I'm still saying that.
Okay. So are you the same are you the same person today, 3 hours later?
I am not, actually. I wasn't the same from yesterday. I listened yesterday, so well, partly last night anyway, because like I said, and even today, and I explained to Val that I'm actually in the process of moving and everything else. So and I have my grandbaby, so it's kind of hard to just sit still and listen. But I did want to get on.
Okay.
This is valid. This point is for me.
Okay. And so you understand that now we have the expectation that you're going to make a decision so that you can stay connected.
Correct.
Okay. And do you understand that decision is very easy, that it first begins with something that doesn't cost you any money? So connect with Val, make a decision, draw a line in the sand, because we'd love to have you be a participant. But more importantly, I do want to know, what will you contribute as a part of this community? What value will you bring to us as a part of the community, right?
Well, I bring myself for now until I learn to do better. Those that know better do better. So as I learn, then of course I'll be able to contribute more. Right now, I'll be contributing myself and just what I know to do. And it's to share the product, or share the wisdom, or share the wellness community problem.
Got it. Well, we'll work with you on that, but just know you already have something right now to share, because God has already wonderfully made you. And it's on me to help you to accentuate that. But as long as you come in with the spirit of service, and you actually are not someone that is a lurker, then we're good. Then everything else is going to take care of itself. So thank you for being on. Thank you for muscling through. I appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing that you're a part of the family, and then we'll welcome you with open arms. And the next connection period is on Monday morning, Leading Ladies Call, and we look forward to welcoming you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. All right. Well, that's all I personally have. Andrea, I'll pass it back over to you and leave the floor open if you guys got any questions. But again, you guys have truly blessed me with your engagement. And I think that these next 5 days, or Andrea told me it's 6 days, whatever the number is.
6 today.
6 today? Okay.
Today is 6. I count today as a day.
Well, it's definitely the day.
Yeah.
And so I need to let me see who the people.
No, you don't need to nothing. We good.
No, when I say what I'm about to say, Val, I expect you to. We need to get some things done.
Absolutely.
Let's finish out this thing. Christine, the person that's the business owner, you have the opportunity to make an extra $500 before to be paid on the 15th. So if you're ready to make some shifts, drop me a text message so we can get you trained up and help you to help other people. You're sitting on your gold. Shirley, I think we've covered enough. You've been coached today, so you don't need to do no one-on-one call with me. Unless you need to, you can. But just know that I don't have an expectation for you to time. We spend a lot of time together.
Shirley said, no, I'm good.
All right, Andrea, I expect you to get with Mom and let's get this Director 2 knocked out.
Yeah.
Yep. And Deb's just got to keep continuing to roll, get the 2020, and I need to know who I need to be talking to beneath that you've gotten started, so that in turn we can get you positioned for Director 3. Lima, welcome. Hopefully you now have gotten fed and now you're ready to to be a contributor for your household, you got a chance to make an extra $500 paid on the 15th. So connect with me if you want to. It's all voluntary. It's all voluntary. And I think that's about it. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is we still got plenty of time to help each one of you to create a check for $500 to be paid on the 15th of May. And what you experienced today is the value piece. So the price is $19 a year. The value is all that you just not experienced that you can offer to people. And it's that simple. So any questions about anyone?
Nope.
All right.
We're all good. Thank you guys for being on our Real Talk. Look out for the flyer for May, where we will be doing a Life is Rich book club. And you guys have an amazing day. Make it count. And,
hey, set your calendar. So we got Monday morning.
Yep.
Go ahead and start promoting. You got the ladies call, and don't give people the number. Text ladies to 904-204-0846. Start making that your habit, because that allows us to follow up with people.
Mm-hmm.
Iron for the men. Ladies, invite men. In fact, you guys can have tremendous success in doing so. Start communicating.
Let me say this.
And then lastly, wait.
Go ahead.
Ladies for Monday. Iron for Monday. For those people that have not been introduced to Financial Peace University via Life is Rich, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all your customers are eligible. And those people that are not customers probably would say yes to that first and foremost. So make sure that you go ahead and use that. Use the book as a magnet. You got things, resources to help to get people exposed. And then we will be doing movie night on a bi-weekly basis. This time around, I need to see you guys. Anytime I talk about that, you need to show up, because there's a lesson in anything that I have you look at or listen to. So let's make sure that we enjoy those times together. To be Edu-Tainment is what this is called, Edu-Tainment. And we'll start at 7:30, where we'll set the stage and we'll teach a little bit, but then we'll go into entertaining, watch the movie. And then I'll expect you then to drop your notes about what you get from it. All right, so that's all I have, baby. It's all to you.
I will change the flyer, Nate, because the number is on the flyer for the leading ladies call. So ladies, just know that give me a minute to change that today, and then I'll repost it so that it does say text ladies to that number. All right. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being on. You guys have a powerful day. Share who you are, and life is rich. Take care, you guys. Have a great one. Bye.